All right. I just want to full disclosure this on everyone, our listeners. I did make this list after I had 3 Manhattans, and then I decided to have a glass or two of absinthe. It's time. It's actually time. This is what they tell you. It's time now. It is. I got this in like 2005 or 6, and it's fucking time now. Like, it really is. And I've got it over there actually, and it's like plastic.
So you didn't sell it,
minted, whatever. And I googled
those gold coins they sell on Fox News to all the old people. They're like, "This is a 9/11 coin. It's worth $1 million. We'll give it to you for $30."
Yeah, 30. Yeah, we'll slice that price in a billion, because we're going to give it to you for $19.99. This 9/11 commemorative coin, minted in the American commemoration coin minting
100% American gold
in Wisconsin. 100%. Yeah, exactly. Gold minted coin just for you. All right, we want to welcome everybody here today on this special Thursday afternoon to talk about some of the greatest achievements in the world on what's known as the only basement podcast in the entire universe right here.
It's a basement podcast.
It's a basement podcast. And we briefly described the basement as being a emotion, a concept, state of mind. Actually, Joe, I think you're saying state of mind is the basement.
Yeah, it's a state of mind. It's not a place.
Yeah, the basement, it started off as a place, but I feel like you guys are probably getting confused after 56 episodes of what a basement actually is. It's not what you think. It is what you think, but it's not.
It's even better than what you think.
It's even better. And as this podcast grows and evolves and we, get more funding, the basement is going to be a whole nother concept.
That's the basement podcast.
Thank you, Stephen Hawking. And we're excited to share this episode of the Dylan and Joe Basement with a B podcast for you today. I'm one of the hosts every single week, Dylan. And
안녕하세요. I am Joe. Welcome to the Dylan and Joe Basement podcast. That was hello in Korean.
Is dumb question. I'm not an expert. Is Korean the same as North Korean?
Yes.
Okay. I do know
kind of like if after the Civil War there was the Confederate States of America and the United States of America, they still spoke the same language, but they just split in half and they never got back together again.
Yep, I do know that part of history. That makes sense to me.
So it's be the same language.
Yes, I do know that North Korean defectors who are in South Korea do have a local accent to the north.
Yeah, just like if we spoke to people from Mississippi and they're like, I speak the same language as you. You're like, yeah, we speak the same language, but yours is a little bit more hick. Except in Korea, you flip them. Because the North is a lot more. We'll get into it, but
we'll get into it. But for what I know, it's actually sad. It's not really metropolitan. They sort of have an accent, but it's more the fact that they're just super agreeable and
by design.
Yeah, well, exactly. They're suppressed, so they act like they're suppressed. So if they don't speak their opinion, they don't do a lot of that stuff. Even if it's been like 10 years, they're a little bit more
bite.
Exactly.
Cowers.
Yes, and that's how they are. So it's a little sad in that. But anyway, so today's episode, we're going to get right to this. So
we're so glad to be back, folks. Good to see you again.
Good to see you again.
It's another weird episode of the Dylan and Joe Basement Podcast.
It sure is. And Joe didn't get his Cadillac Converter stolen this time. He got a new car, actually, but that's not why we took a couple weeks. Me and Joe decided to have a race. And this is a race that involved one car and two airplanes in total.
2 airplanes and I guess 2 cars, but one of the cars is the same as yours, so it's kind of cheating.
That's true. Yeah. So Joe took an Uber to Boston Airport from Lynn and Boston Airport. Who am I? Logan.
Actually, my dad dropped me off.
Actually, his dad dropped him off. But and then we I started in a 2014 Volkswagen
We actually both
Jetta.
started at the same place. You just got a head start, North Shore.
I did get a little bit of a head start, and I drove to Niagara Falls in a Jetta. And I don't know anyone who's done that in a Jetta before. It was my first person I know with a Jetta who drove to Niagara Falls in it. Yeah. And then I stayed the night. And for those who don't know, that Niagara Falls is it's a little not what you think it's going to be. It was great, but and then we both made our journey to Terre Haute, Indiana.
Terre Haute, yeah, buddy. About an hour southwest, I think, of Indianapolis, which is where my plane landed. And I was greeted not by an Uber driver, but by one Jetta.
One Jetta.
The best driver I know.
Yep. We somehow on this race pretty much got to the Indianapolis airport at the exact same time with absolutely no communication, coordination, expectations.
No planning, just worked out that way.
Or anything. And I only pissed in a yogurt container one time.
I would have been at least 4 or 5 by that point. So that's some restraint.
It was some sort of thing where I just stopped drinking, And
you didn't get dehydrated over a trip that way. It was summertime weather out there.
And I also might have got yogurt in my wiener, and maybe it decided that it's going to slow proactive. Actually, maybe it actually slowed down my peeing a little bit because was that small Chobani one, and it overflowed immediately, and I got pee all over me in the seat. But
and you never know how much pee you can hold until you can watch a bottle fill up and how fast it fills up.
Isn't that true? That is so true. It can be
the biggest
bottle
of Chobani. I'd be like, that's probably about right. And then you realize it's about like a half-gallon tank you got in there. It's like, my God.
Yeah, you can take
those. It just goes into the water, so you just think, it's not that much. You're raising the level in the toilet so much that you're like, oh, it's a bunch. But if you have to do it in a bottle, you realize very quickly how much capacity your bladder can really hold, and it's well over a Gatorade bottle. I'll tell you from experience.
Well over a Gatorade bottle, and that it could be that big one. You could probably get more than halfway. If
that one that's like ribbed for your pleasure that you can hold.
Yes, that one. Yeah,
that one is probably closer to what.
That one I can definitely fill that. No problem. There's a bigger one that I was saying that could take 2 pisses. To
the one that has like the extra
looks
large bottle.
It looks like something you put in like a howitzer or something.
Yeah, that's one you're supposed to like have for like at home, and you fill up like cups with it and stuff.
Yeah, but you drink it with one hand. That one. So, but anyways, so we took some time off because we were in Indiana shooting guns and swimming and shooting fireworks.
It's our buddy Andrew's 30th birthday. You know him from the
you guys know Andrew
episode and the episode Son in the Box.
Yes, Son in the Box.
He's coming back on soon. His wife said he has to come back on, even though he's embarrassed because he thinks he's not good in the podcast, but we think he's great and he's coming back.
He's great and he's coming back, and we're excited to have our friend Andrew back on the podcast for the 3rd time, right?
It'll be he will be the record-setting guest because it'll be the 3rd time if he goes on, which will be the most of any guest besides Dominic, who is
our hottest guest.
He's kind of like he's the hottest guest.
He's kind of like a what do they call those people? Not regulars, but like I'd
say he's a regular. Yeah.
No, he's a regular, but there's another name for someone who's like officially on payroll.
Yeah, he's a paid regular.
Okay, I was thinking something else, but paid.
Yeah, he's not like a starting player on the team, but he's on the bench.
So a resident. He's a resident.
Okay, he's a resident of the basement for sure.
Resident of the basement, definitely a resident, and he comes out when he.
Yeah, so I don't really consider him a guest as much because he's a part of the show, even though he's not the main cast.
So that makes Andrew our hottest guest now because he's not a guest anymore. So he's our hottest resident.
Yep,
our hottest guest is going to be Andrew when I'm back on. We're excited.
Yeah, very excited.
Yeah,
and you should be too. You fucking animals.
Yeah, you guys should be too. We love Andrew. So anyway, let's get into the meat of what our thoughts are today. Is that
because this might be the record of how long we can go without saying what this podcast is actually about, which is fine.
And that's okay. It's all right. It's supposed to get chat. So North Korea, you may disagree with us, but we think that they're going in the wrong direction. And
I'm not a fan of the direction they're going in.
Yeah, and we think they've been going in the wrong direction for a while, and there's something else they could do with that.
And a lot of that is based off of their supreme leader, who chooses for the most part what direction it all goes in. So unlike some countries in the world, they have these governments and all these representatives and yada yada yada. If you could convince the leader of North Korea to make a decision, he could actually change the direction of the entire nation.
Yes.
And now that could really make some changes.
Yeah, in the world. So like whatever you guys think about Kim Jong Un, and his father Kim Jong Il, who's
and his
passed away,
Kim Il Sung.
Kim Il Sung, is that they still, no matter what you think, they do have power, and they're using it the wrong way. They have actually a lot of money and a lot of power. And the major problem, because we're going to get right at for this, is that
let's get after it.
All they're when it comes to leadership, running a business, a company, a marriage, a fucking dog pound, a brewery, or a podcast, you got to be yourself, and you gotta not try to be other shit or the greatest
know what you
of something
are and embrace it.
Yeah, you need to know how big your wiener is sometimes.
Know your limitations, know your
if it's
strengths.
Small, it's okay. Use it differently. We all know this. So we think that Kim Jong-il at the moment,
Kim Jong-Un, which we're gonna keep doing this.
Fucks, Jesus fucking Christ. I've seen Team America. I know.
Way more famous.
He says perhaps his translator did not make it clear to you. He says he should fire his translator.
Do you have any idea how fucking busy I am?
It's Team America. I in my research, I kept typing up Kim Jong-il because he's the famous one.
Yeah, exactly.
And you better believe we're putting some clips of him in this. Hopefully, 20th Century Fox won't copyright us. But come on, we can't pick it up.
Yeah, it's okay. And
now take your weapons of mass destruction and get the fuck out of here.
Rest in peace, Hans Bricks.
Hello. I'm quoting the movie. All right. Don't come after me.
It's the movie. It's fine. And if they come after you, it is what it is. It's a fucking movie. So
no one's gonna.
They're fine. So
until we're famous, then we get canceled 20 years from now. Where they're like, wait a minute, did they do a whole thing about North Korea and they did the accent from the movie?
Yeah. Or we get kidnapped from our location and sent.
Now that would up our ratings. If we could get detained by the People's Republic of North Korea. My God.
Yeah, for disrespecting Kim Jong-un.
Mm-hmm.
So all right. So
what are we doing here?
This is what we're doing here. They have spent most of the time in the 20th century, most of it, and then everything after that, trying to be like the West. It's almost like what Britney Spears is doing right now with all of her thing. Like she missed a decade of her life.
Perfect analogy, Dylan.
And she's trying to. I don't know if you're making fun of me or not, but I think it's good. And she's.
I'm being honest. That I would have never thought of that. But this is right on the nose for what.
Thank you. She's trying to. She has this concept of what celebrities are doing and people are doing and what's cool and what's not, and is trying to do it. But she's clearly a clone or an alien, so it's not. It's like the computer's not working. So I
think she is exactly what she is. That's what happens when you are Britney Spears. I don't think it's her fault.
But it's so insane. It's like, why do you want to be
when you're 16 years old?
Look at me. I'm wearing this brand and I'm having this lavish wedding now to some stranger and blah, blah, all these things because I'm this. It's like, whoa. We thought you were fine the way you were. I know your situation, whatever. But anyway, so Kim Jong-un is doing the same damn thing as Britney Spears, and we're the first podcast to say it right now. I fucking know that. So
Kim Jong-un is Britney Spears of world leaders. Dylan said it first. You heard it here first.
You heard it here first. Tell everyone you know. And he's doing this through death and destruction. And I'm not even going to get into the genocide and the terrible things that are going on there because fuck that. He should definitely have his dick cut off and fed to him.
Right.
And for eternities. For years, he deserves the worst of it all.
I'm going to mention a couple things about North Korea as we go through but this isn't a podcast about the atrocities of North Korea.
Yeah,
This is trying to head him in a better direction of where he should focus his efforts on to become the recognized country and world leader that he could be, and to be a world record holder, perhaps.
Yeah. Exactly.
For the right reasons, not for these, whatever they're trying to do now.
But I do have to shout out to Yeonmi Park, who was on Joe Rogan. If you want to learn really the horrors and stuff, because we don't want to just bypass that, go watch that, listen to someone from North Korea talk about what they think. It's just insane.
Exactly. We're not going to harp on it. It might come up a bit.
It might come a bit. But anyway, so we think that if all that aside and whatever, North Korea has the power to do some cool things. And we're going to go through.
Does.
Any world leader does.
I mean, just ask Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility, and
that's right.
Kim Jong-Un has great power, and he has great responsibility, and he's squandering it.
And he's focused on making an ICBM, an intercontinental ballistic missile, that's capable of ending the world. It's like, okay, that's great, dude, because you put on the map. You want to have the greatest military. You want to have big cities, and
raising one of the largest standing armies in the world, even though his people are starving to death and the entire country's shit poor. I mean, it is the identity, like it's the what do you call it? The archetype of like the facade. You put up a bunch of paper buildings. You go, hey, look, we live in a giant city, and everything beyond the capital is like literal apocalypse situation. But they're
dogs eating dead bodies.
Only show people the good parts. Yep. Don't look at the man behind the curtain, Wizard of Oz style.
Exactly. So I want to list off a few of their actual greatest achievements, and then we're going to get into what we think they should maybe replace those with in the next decade.
Sounds great.
Because there are so many possibilities that, again, me and Joe don't have the funding to do ourselves.
We don't.
So we're looking for other people to do them, and we think Kim Jong-Un is a great candidate for some of these things that can be done,
because he is on the world stage, and he
sure is, and
the mantle.
Exactly. So some of their greatest achievements over the past decade have been the Ever Yang smartphone. It looks like an iPhone, and it's
they're copying other shit because they don't allow technology coming in and out of the country. So they call them the hermit nation for a reason. They have to do everything inside that country. Nothing goes in or out besides information to the highest power. So they know what's going on. The highest echelon of North Korea knows all of what's going on in the world, and no one else in the country does. Even if you work in the government, you still don't know. Like, there's like probably 20 people in North Korea that know what's going on, and they're deciding how everything's going to go. Everyone else knows nothing. In fact, they know the opposite of nothing. They know false information about what's going on in the world. And it's an entire country. It's like if you could take a cult of 100 people and expand it to an entire nation. And that's what it is. It's fucking crazy. I'm looking at their population I looked up earlier, and it's 25 million people. And 25.98 of them have no fucking idea what's going on outside the borders.
No idea. Yeah, it's terrible. So again, going through these real quick.
Biggest cult ever.
So we can get to the good stuff. Biggest cult ever. They are 10% the size of the United States, if you guys want to put numbers in, which is if there was 25.
Less than that, if that's their population.
25. Well, we're 300 million, and they're
330 plus, I think. And they're 25.
All right, I can't do math that well.
I'm sorry. I thought you looked that up.
Close to 10%.
I'd say more than like 5%.
More like 5%. You're probably right about that. No one knows though, actually, because
these are all speculative because they don't announce it. They actually inflate their numbers. They don't.
Exactly. And how do you count all the people getting eaten by dogs and stuff? But anyway, so number 9.
Dogs don't.
Number 9 on their list is their operating system. Called Red Star, which looks like the worst version of Linux I've ever seen, and Linux looks like a nightmare.
They have their own operating system.
The Junma luxury car looks like a car hybrid between a Kia and a Mercedes S-Class from 2001.
That makes sense because isn't Kia a South Korean company?
It is, and it's built by Pyeonghwa Motors, a joint venture, a JVA between a South Korean church and a North Korean government-owned business.
That
making the best cars out there.
Great automobile.
Oh yeah, you can't beat that. That is fun. The Samajeon tablet. It's a tablet that you can imagine.
Not be confused with Samsung. Samajeon.
Samajeon, as we say in different language. And you bet your fucking ass there's no port on that.
You better believe it, motherfucker.
Yeah, you better believe it. Yeah, no, definitely no watching sex on that fucking thing, which renders it absolutely useless.
Yes, and they don't have the internet anyways, so what are you going to do with it?
Exactly. The Type 73 light machine gun looks exactly like a Bren gun that was originally designed in World War One.
Nice. So they're catching up. Looking great. Dual feed system coming from the magazine on the top, aka the Bren. Really looking great. I bet it's not
there.
expensive to make.
Yep. However, they are exporting it to Africa and the Middle East.
So they can sell stuff. They just can't get any stuff from outside and give it to their citizens.
Oh, definitely. They definitely export things. But there's nothing.
Well, you got to make money, right?
Nothing
you
like
sell it to yourself.
That's true. There's nothing like trying to defend yourself against the enemy in your gun jams, aka the Type 73 LMG. Next up on the list is the Kwangmyong Song -1, meaning Bright Star 1, was North Korea's first satellite launched in 1998. It looks like a disco ball, and I'm sure it works just as well as one. Well, actually, it's pretty reliable, so that's actually a bad example.
I mean, even being able to launch a satellite this is the weird dichotomy of this nation.
Exactly. Yeah.
They have nothing going for them at all for 99% of the population, but yet they can do things like launch a satellite, which most nations in the world, I should say, have never launched a satellite. It's like 10% of all countries have launched a satellite, and North Korea is one of them. It's so weird.
Just get so much.
Most countries have more money than North Korea, but yet North Korea has launched a satellite.
They have, but it's
priorities.
I didn't.
What we're here to talk about priorities.
I didn't think it would get funnier than launching a disco ball into space, and it's about 6 feet tall. Like it's really like a giant disco ball.
Hell yeah.
Is that one? It literally was designed to do this. They reported that the satellite, all it did was broadcast patriotic hymns in Morse code.
That tracks.
They launched a Polly Pocket fucking keychain into space that we can detect the sound of it from North Korea. So when
it just
when you pull up the app,
banner in Morse code.
That's literally all it does. So when you're on your Samyang tablet, you can listen to one track.
It doesn't even play the song. It does it in Morse code because it's cheaper to go.
Exactly. You go, yes. We are. I mean, no offense to Americans. No one can fucking do that here.
Oh no, but we're not a nation.
Exactly. I can't do that.
I can't do that. But you know what? Someone in America can do that themselves.
Well, there's a theory out there that there's not a single human in the world who can, the guy from Wait by Why was talking about this, who can actually make a pencil. Meaning you cannot, not one person has the expertise to mine graphite. The collective, yeah.
Yeah, I
can get the wood, who can make paint out of nothing. If it was all gone, point. And then the aluminum on the thing, and then the pencil eraser, there's no one who can actually do that. That's a sharp
point.
Yeah, so there's no one who can actually do that. So I give them a little bit of credit to be able to put what are those? Not Polly Pocket. What was that other thing that had music on it?
Gigapets? Oh, hit clips.
Hit clips, yeah. So they launched a giant hit clip into space.
But hit clips actually played music. This is Morse code.
Hit clips played music, but it didn't remotely transfer that from space
to
a speaker. Okay, so do not shit.
I'm just saying that they could have created a Morse code device in 1931. I mean, this is old news.
I know, but don't.
That's what makes it so strange, because the rest of the list is even more strange, because I happen to know there's a couple other things. I didn't hear the list, but they've done more than that. It's fucking wild.
I just feel like you're being too hard on the Kwangmyong song.
I mean, I thought we were both being hard on it, but I guess if you're going to turn it to it's really cool, then I guess I'll take the opposite.
Just saying. So they literally what they decided to do on our theme is that they put a fucking satellite in space that is a giant hit clip that broadcast, not the hit clip song, not Touch Me Baby One More Time. Sorry, Hit Me Baby One More Time by Britney Spears. In the actual form, they put the fucking Morse code version of the worst national anthem in the whole universe.
It's basically a binary thing. It's either 0 or 1. It's either a beep or a not beep. That's how they did.
Yeah.
But the impressive part isn't the song. It's the fact that they launched a satellite and it didn't explode or crash back down to Earth. I assume it was up there for a short period of time. It might still be there, but that's for another episode when we talk about space trash.
It says that we can't track it, which means it's probably space trash. Stay tuned to that episode.
Foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing a potential episode in the future. So anyways, moving on from that. They do have intranet. Do you know the difference between intranet and internet?
I do, just because of the suffix, which is that, like internet is more like using the word international, used it means that it's spread throughout. So intranet means they have a network that looks at the internet or acts the internet, but it only is within the own nation. So they have basically a network like you'd have at your work if it was disconnected from the internet. It's just like being able to send files from computer to computer, which is the earliest version of the internet. The internet is when it was spread to all computers within a broadband connection or within dial-up connection. So it means they have their own internet that's just North Korea, which definitely fits their little thing they have going there, where we have all this stuff, but it's just here only. You can't get outside it.
Yeah. This is what Joe does for a living, which is why I know these things. Just want to put that out. And so they have one called the Kwangmyong intranet, and it looks almost identical to the paper placemat at some Chinese food restaurants that has your horoscope on it. That's what the interface looks like. So moving on from that.
Right.
Also, no porn on the menu. I don't see.
That goes without saying. The theme of the hour is no fun. No fun for anyone.
Oh wait, it just gets more fun. They have actually. This is great. I'm gonna spell it out before I say it. This is their streaming service, much like Roku, Netflix.
Oh my god, they're like the McDonald's Happy Meal toy of like actual devices. We have our own streaming service because that's what other people have.
Yep. It's great, and it's limited to state-controlled news and movies. And there are also language. There's also
that's not funny.
It's very funny. It's fine. They have a language, and they have controlled news and movies, and then language learning programs teaching English and Russian. Didn't know that. But the funny thing here is
useful
that I'm surprised they even have that.
Also, the two major powers that split their country in twain.
Is the title of it is Man Bang, MANBANG,
which I'm sure is not as funny in Korean, but here, fucking hilarious.
It's fucking hilarious, and that's great. And they probably call it Monbong, but it says
probably, but even then, it's still funny. Monbong,
Man Bang,
Bang.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Oh man.
Yeah, what's the fucking...
So these are all things they decide to invest their time and efforts in money.
And the final one that you probably know is the Hwasong-10 missile. It doesn't
Which means
mean
that's the 10th iteration of this missile, usually. So what that means, yeah.
Usually. And the whole point of this is to hit a major city in the United States of America.
Yep.
Carrying nuclear weapons.
Yeah. The thing that Russia and the United States have 20,000 of, they want to make one of them.
20,000. Try tripling that number. This is cool. So all they do is basically test launch it, and it lands into the Sea of Japan because it doesn't get that far. Their recent one went like 400 miles or something, so it went further than that. But overall, all they're trying to do is just show they're a nuclear power in the world.
Yeah. Again, it's not impressive unless you take into account that they shouldn't have the resources for any of this. And most nations that have way more resources and way more money can't do this because they decided not to put their efforts into this. In North Korea, put all their eggs in a shit basket, which is what this episode is all about.
That's exactly it. So instead of that shit basket, we've got a better...
We have a lot of baskets.
I wouldn't even call this a shit basket. I'd say this is a good basket. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So first thing comes first is, Joe, I've got some ideas. You've got some ideas. You want to share an idea about how you think there are something called world records?
There sure are. And I think that's a great introduction to what we think they should head towards here, as far as making a name for themselves on the world stage, which is really what they want. They think they want to hurt America, or they want to take control of their country, or whatever they think they want to do. They want to be like everybody else. Like you said, they want to be someone else. Just be yourself. And there's a particular source of records that is a great resource for people learning to pick their lane and committing to it. And they are known for it throughout all of the world, the best at it. And that is a very famous record book called the Guinness Book of World Records. And these are people who commit themselves to one discipline and they nail it, and they're known for all of time. And North Korea could be this on the world stage. Don't be the 5th best satellite launching nation. Be the best at something else. And 5th best, obviously, I'm using hyperbole there. They're like the 100th best at that. But you get the point. You should put your efforts into something else, and then you can be the best at something that no one's done rather than being the worst at something that everyone's done before you.
Couldn't have said it better. And we know they have, if they have the funding to create an ICBM, and
they have the resources.
They have the resources to probably do anything on this list. They can make it happen.
For sure.
And they can be the best at it. So all of a sudden they have a thing. Like a great example to start of, this isn't an example, but some things over the past decade that have made people happy is Tesla, Elon Musk putting his Roadster into space for no fucking reason.
Yes, because they can.
Because they're
the only ones that can do it.
We
did the first ones that can do it. So they'll be known throughout all of time as the first company to put a car into orbit.
And then they played a song on that car and then put a live stream on it so we could watch a car in space because it's cool.
Now that's taking resources and putting it towards something unique.
No other reason. Just, hey, they fucking did that. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
I thought it was worth mentioning the Guinness Book of World Records is kind of like the Michelin star restaurants. Why is it called the Guinness Book of World Records? Why is it called Michelin star? Well, Guinness and Michelin are major companies we've heard of, but clearly that can't be the same thing as these books, right? Because one of them is a tire company and the other one is a beer company. That's where you're wrong. They are those ones you're thinking of.
No
Michelin
way.
star restaurants are rated by the company Michelin Tires. It was originally a book made to show restaurants around the country where the incentive was to have people drive long distances and use up their tires. They had to buy new tires. Imagine that being the incentive for it. Michelin stars are still the highest ranked restaurants on the planet based on the company Michelin Tires. As is so is the same for Guinness Book of World Records is set by the Guinness Beer Brewing Company. That's the Guinness we're talking about, not another guy named Guinness. It is started by the Guinness Brewing Company, and it started on November 10th, 1951. Sir Hugh Beaver, who was the managing director of Guinness Brewery, was on a hunting trip, and he shot at a golden plover, which is the name of a game bird, and he missed, and the bird got away. He got in an argument about what is the fastest game bird in Europe. Is it the golden plover or the red grouse? Kind of the old-fashioned argument of, well, that's not fair. It's too fast. And the other guy's like, it's not that fast. There's faster birds. And he goes, no, this is the fastest one. That argument led to Guinness Brewery putting the resources into a record book to decide what is the record holders of everything from the fastest bird to the biggest ball of yarn to the most hot dogs eaten by a man in 10 minutes. And that is what sparked the entire Guinness Book of World Records, which today is held as the gold standard of record holders in the world, started by a beer company. And that's what we're here to talk about today.
Wow.
North Korea should invest their time and efforts in breaking one of these world records. They can be known for that rather than the worst something else.
Yeah, the fifth best of something else, or the 50th best country at doing something that they just want to get on the map for, to be the Britney Spears of the celebrity world right now.
Yep. Guinness Book of World Records, a first published in 1955, still lives on today. So what we've got here for that is, all my first thought I just want to reference is that with the Michelin star restaurants is a Monty Python, where it's this like severely overweight guy who does fine dining, and all he does is just his napkin and his thing, and he eats the food and then goes, yes, this was very good. And then they bring in the trash and goes, we're just puking everywhere. And then he has another serving, and all he does is just eat fine food, taste it, and go, yes, of course. Then throws it up. So funny. Michelin
star. So let's get into it. So my first thought on this is, because it was abandoned almost 20 years ago, and we did talk about this, is, and again, if they apply to the Guinness Book of World Records, it'll go in it. And if you look at the records, it's probably in there because they do have a list of records. Guinness Book of World Records, has an application thing where the most hot dogs, most this, most whatever it is. But there's nothing stopping North Korea from taking their intercontinental ballistic missile program, taking that money, and then deciding to dig the deepest hole ever dug.
Which is what got us on this whole trend from our last
exactly
episode.
So I want to start with that, is that we did the deep. There are deep holes, and they had to abandon due to funding. That's why they stopped digging boring that hole with that crazy looking thing.
If they kept dumping money into the money hole, the hole would get deeper.
Keep going. We have new technology. It's been almost 20 years since that happened. We have, it's been about that actually.
It's a motivation issue, not a technology issue at that point.
Yeah, exactly. But now we have more temperature resistant ceramics and things. We've developed technology more where we can now go twice that if someone actually decided to do this. And they do it for the same reason Elon Musk put a fucking Tesla Roadster into space. No reason at all.
The incentive can't be money. It's got to be glory.
It's got to be glory. So then all of a sudden, North Korea's in the news. And we go, oh, what are they in the news for? Because everyone loves drama right now. And they go, North Korea now holds the record for deepest hole dug. And I go, fuck yes. You guys fucking got this. And we
finally
respect
you guys
you.
did something
respect.
That we can respect.
Respect. We respect that.
That's
it's fucking awesome. You guys are protected by China anyway, so you need fucking military stuff. You're fine. You are good, and you dug a deep hole. Amen. And then what happens from there is that we invite the North Koreans to the United States for an awards ceremony. We give them a plaque.
Hosted by Dennis Rodman, their favorite American.
Hosted by Dennis fucking Rodman, who loves skiing in North Korea because they can ski there. They have mountains that are good for skiing. And it's all there. It becomes a thing on the news where you go, hey, the world is coming together a little bit. North Korea just dug the deepest hole ever.
Yeah, what a better use of their time and efforts. I mean, when they have a news story about how their ICBM made it 400 miles, that's everyone's sad and they're kind of angry and scared. But if they do the whole, now everyone's excited and happy. I mean, isn't that what they want?
Yeah, we go, it's cool. And the thing with the ICBM is from my pilot friends, whether you're flying an F-35, a 737, or a Cessna, they go, oh, Cessna's really slow and, whatever, and it's not that fun. A Cessna is just as capable of killing you as those other planes is. So don't be knocking their ICBM because it went only 400 miles. It's still bad.
Still bad. And their number one target is South Korea, which is not that far away at all. In fact,
that is, it is 1 mile away.
At certain portions, it's only a mile. Yeah, exactly. It's very.
And actually, at the DMX or the whatever it's called,
DMZ.
DMZ. Sorry, RIP at DMX. Shout out to him. X gonna give it to you. It's actually touches it, and
it's essentially the same thing because it is the same country. They just had an arbitrary line split, and that's what changed. They changed the fate of not only the two nations but generations of people in perpetuity. That line made a lot of difference.
Fucked up so bad. So we think a first start would be to dig the deepest hole. I think that's
it's a great start, and that is like picking the blue whale because that might be the best answer. And we'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. No, it's some really
but I think that's a great pick. And even though it was the inspiration for this pod, I think that that was a great idea by you to think that, just dig the deepest hole. I mean, it takes a shit ton of effort and money, but if you take effort and money away from your space program or your nuclear program, you could easily do it.
Easily, no problem. And I do, before we go on to our next topic, I do want to kill 2 birds with one
cup.
ICBM.
There you go.
Intercontinental ballistic missile, also known as just a rock or a cup. 2 birds, 1 cup. That if, as we mentioned, because we are now firework enthusiasts, me and Joe, we love fireworks now. We bought fireworks.
Say we're not exactly connoisseurs, but enthusiasts is a great word for it. You're right.
We did. You name one other podcast who split the bill on fireworks. Me and Joe did. We both went halfsies. We Venmo each other on for fireworks. It's really cool. We should do it sometime. Be careful though. Is that dumping a firework down the deep hole is going to be cool. But even cooler is saving the planet. And no one has yet to tell me why North Korea can't dig a deep hole and then for coolness, and then dump nuclear waste down it. And the reason being is that where else does nuclear waste go? It goes into barrels that they dig under, that they seal up and put underground. And then eventually that can be a
and
disaster.
They obviously have nuclear waste because they have an entire nuclear program. So they got to put that shit somewhere.
Nuclear program. I'm sure they have nuclear, power plants. I don't really know, but that's typically where you get that from. But put it into the Earth's core. That's the whole fucking point of the core. It's it's radioactive fucking lava. And why not just dump it in there? That's the perfect solution that no one's talking about right now.
It's not going to affect us. It's too deep.
The Earth's core is so fucking huge. It's insane. It's full of lava spinning around. Dump a couple million pounds of nuclear waste in there instead of burying it. Hey. And trash. Landfills have this giant hole to the Earth's core. Dump all the trash down there, burns it up, keeps the Earth going. It's like a big furnace, It's like back in the day. You gotta, feed the steam trains a bunch of coal. Start dumping all our trash. This is also
reeking me of people dumping things in the ocean, being like, "It's so big, who fucking cares?" And then we have a Texas-sized plastic trash island. We're like, "Oh, who gives a fuck?"
Well, because that's the fucking you're trying to mix
nuclear waste into the core of the Earth, and it starts mattering at some point.
Tell me one thing: where would you rather put a Mountain Dew bottle, in the Earth's core or in the Pacific Ocean, Joe?
Earth's core every time.
Every fucking time, and I don't think anyone on this planet will disagree with you on that.
And they shouldn't,
they shouldn't, because that's where it should go. It'll go right back into production. It's like all going to be good. So that's my first thought. Giant hole. Part 2, nuclear waste dump down there. You will make not only one Guinness Book of World Record, you'll make 2, and you will also be saving the world. They could be doing that with everything.
You are the hero many times over at that point.
No, they haven't called me yet.
You will immediately change the world's opinion about you, which right now is very poor.
Me or Kim Jong-Un?
I'm talking about North Korea, not you.
Just checking, because you looked just straight at me when you said that. And I was like, all right, well, it is what it is. But
no, the world's opinion on you is very high. I don't think it's going to be higher by advising North Korea. If you did it yourself, then, perhaps that would be what does it.
Hey, because they're going to listen to this because we're in it, and they shut down that movie with those.
Well, yeah, guys. Well, the 10% or the 10% of the upper echelon. I shouldn't say 10%. The 20 guys who have access to the internet in North Korea.
They like to know what's going on in the media. Yeah. We are the media, and
we're the mainstream media. Get used to it, all right?
Yeah.
All right, snowflakes. Podcast. We're the lamestream media. Okay.
Start your own podcast. If they want an advisor in North Korea, I think that we should do it. I'd be the first to tell you that.
Well,
advisors, I work with advisors all day. It's not a slippery slope, because if you're a good advisor,
because I feel like their advisors are more like yes men and less like advisors.
We're not.
Not that we're going to be yes men. It's just that we're going to be murdered because we don't say what they want, and I don't want to be murdered.
I know.
But I want North Korea to be better, but not at the risk of my own life.
A lot of things in writing before you do it, but the whole point of being a good advisor is that you said it perfectly. I wasn't going to say yes men, but a good advisor is not a yes man. They tell you their opinion.
They're no men,
and they're whatever it is, regardless of how you react to that. So they go, "Hey, I think your fucking marketing materials suck ass so bad, and it's going to fail your company.
Trash,
and your PR team is trash." And they say all these things, and you go, "Hey, cool, well, thank you," because no one else had the balls to tell my company that we fucking our website.
Yeah, North Korea, they really like to reward people who have the balls to stand up to authority and really speak their mind and change opinions. Just ask all the corpses they have.
yeah. Or
they love that shit. When you say, you know what, you're wrong about all this, and here's why. They love hearing that.
If they hear this podcast, maybe they'll change their mind.
Well, I hope they don't, because I don't want them knowing who the fuck I am. But
I've got too much of a life to live to be strapped to a cement wall with an anti-aircraft gun in front of me.
Yeah, for sure. If I'm gonna lose my life for the betterment of a nation, I don't want it to be North Korea as much as I want them to go up. But let's assume they would, for the sake of the podcast.
Since we know they're learning English off their TV program and they want to have us on Zoom.
Oh, they're not. They
advise us. No, they're learning. No, they said they are on their streaming service. They have English learning programs. So
they may be learning the language of English, but they aren't allowed to hear any English spoken to them from any other nation. They realize how shit they're in. It's like I said, it's like a cult leader. You can't be talking to other people. And if they talk to you, you're supposed to believe that they're lying to you to make you, go towards the devil or whatever. Like, it's all part of the program. If they were allowed to watch American television, they would probably be like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, as soon as they realize that, they'd be pissed off and it'd be a whole turnaround. So most of what they understand about the world outside is completely tailored, and anything that might sneak in, it's enough. They're indoctrinated enough to just write it off as this is the work of Satan. They don't really think of Satan that way, but in the cult metaphor, it's that the outsiders are only there to tempt you and to trick you and to make you less powerful and to lie about your leaders.
It's true, but you know what the most contagious virus in the whole entire world is, right?
What is it?
Speech and thought.
I was going to say ideas, but I thought you
ideas
would say particular.
So
idea, yeah.
We know that Kim Jong-il went to college in Switzerland and liked basketball.
Yeah, that's why Dennis Rodman is allowed to go there.
Exactly. So if he listens to this podcast, get some ideas about deep holes, maybe he'll listen to it, upset. And then he'll have a private Zoom with us and go, look, what do I do? I know. Oh my God,
can you imagine that conversation? Oh my
this is fucked. Be like Kim, dude,
Kimmy,
Kim,
listen to us, Kim.
Is it okay if we record the Zoom call? And he'll say yes. And he'll say yes, and we'll say okay, because this is a basement podcast.
Yeah, and he'll understand that.
He'll get it immediately. And we'll tell him, okay, all right, cool. So this is what we think you should do. Start with the hole. Start with the hole every time. You usually have 2 options, sometimes 3 if she's cool. And and we're gonna work on that. What's your budget? What's your budget for this type of thing?
What's your budget? I mean,
okay, you don't have a budget. What can we move around? We know you got the size.
Yeah, we got to move money around, I think, for sure. There,
do some stuff because we want to get.
I'll get into that. Don't let me forget. I have relative figures of how much their GDP is, and it is shockingly low for how much they've accomplished in very specific.
So we're looking at those numbers because me and Joe are in business. So we got this covered.
We're in the business of making fucking world record holders over here, folks.
Yeah, and we're making rich people richer, and we got this all figured out. So.
All right, so with that, let's get on to some other records here besides the whole, which we already established in the last podcast.
Yeah, we're okay. All right, what do you got?
You got to enable screen sharing because I got a lot of funny pictures to show us here, and I have to show them to you. Unlike usual, we can kind of talk about it. And I'll show it later. It's going to be kind of an active pod here, where I got to show you some.
Okay, yeah, we'll let it go. This isn't a dictatorship, so it's fine.
Oh, that's very, very funny, very funny. Well, I got to share screen too here. Sorry about that.
What's your background? That looks like a combination of Cuphead and
Howl's Moving Castle, actually.
Howl's
so here we go. We have a particular one of my first things, largest human mattress dominoes. Now they have many people who live there, and this one seems very complicated for a group of people to get together to do. But as far as a nation, I mean, they could easily beat this one. It's only 2,019 people. It happened a couple of years ago in Brazil. They could beat this one easily. They could probably double it in a weekend. I mean, they're kind of public things they have going together, like my background here. Their public events are mandatory, which means they have nearly 1 million people when they come out. You have to go if you're a citizen in North Korea. So they could get easily double, triple of this in an afternoon together, and they could easily beat the world record of largest human mattress dominoes in an afternoon. Tomorrow. They right now. They probably had to coordinate this in Brazil over the course of a year. They even have a golf cart there to watch it go by. And I mean, this could be done so fast. I can't imagine. North Korea could be easily the world record holder for biggest human mattress dominoes tomorrow. That's just an easy one.
It's fucking awesome.
Even quicker than the whole, really.
Well, and that would cost them, $650 in Panera Bread gift cards to give to everyone. That's like no.
Oh no, they don't have to pay them at all. That's one of my points. It's free. They have to do it.
So I mentioned Panera Bread because they don't have it. But no. Everyone's got a mattress and everyone's got
bring your mattress
or something. Yeah, just order everyone
into
the field. That's 600. You said it's 650 people.
That's 2019. They could blow this record away in an afternoon, and they could put it out of reach like Babe Ruth's
50 grand
home run record.
Yeah, 50 grand people. $50,000. Sorry, Jesus, fuck. 50,000 people, no money.
Forget
and then no one will ever beat that.
You've already multiplied it by more than 20 times, and yeah, it's over. The record's out of reach for life. You got it. Locked in the books.
Make the news, make the world stage.
And the video of that would be wonderful to see 20 or 50,000 people toppling over one by one with mattresses. And a lot of them would probably break their bones because of their malnutrition, but it would be a sight to see.
It could take days for that to end. 50,000 people. Think about 1 second per fall. 50,000 seconds is 60 seconds in a minute, and there's this is going to take at least 50,000.
Yeah, I mean, right now,
let's just say 50,000 seconds. Just pull that up, just as an estimate.
50,000 times 60 seconds, so that'd be 3 million seconds.
Wait, just how many?
Wait,
60. Just do. Whoa. Just do. How many hours is 50,000 seconds?
All right. How many
hours? Or minutes? How many minutes is 50,000 seconds?
It's 3 million.
No, it should go down.
No, 50,000 seconds. So I times that by 60 to get a minute would be 3.
Divide it, dude.
Oh, this is terrible.
Something. No, just to say, all right, I have 50,000 seconds. How many days is that?
Let's do it right now.
How many seconds are in a day? That's gonna.
Oh, God damn it! This is so useless.
Fucking Christ.
This is useless. It actually was fun, and now it's not fun anymore. I don't care. Fuck it.
It
would take not that long. How about that?
Can't find my mouse. How many seconds?
50,000 seconds is how many minutes? It's 3. It's divide that right there.
Many seconds in a day. It is.
There you go.
86,000. So you're looking at a half a day roughly.
Half a day.
Half a day. There we go. We figured it out.
We got there. No, but how many gorillas is that?
That's about 86,000 gorillas.
So yeah, that's a half a day of people falling over one by one. Imagine being the first one though. You can't get up. You have to lay down there for the design they're going to do. A spiral, I'd imagine. Or they probably do like a big star or their flag or something.
Whatever they want to do. You know, the thing is, we can't ask for everything at once. If they need,
no, it's up to them. These are our ideas. They have to run with them. You know,
they are, but they're still going to be. They're still going to want their regime shit.
They're going to want. It's going to be all for the.
This is how you infect and essentially demolish a regime is by giving them stupid liberal ideas like we're giving them that are fun. And then the society starts to collapse a little bit because the foundation of North Korea is strict, essentially what we would call extremism. And once you start taking to demolish a society, you have to remove religion, gender roles to a certain extent. The military male
information is the big
information. All these things. So if you start making everyone think too much, then stuff you can't get them to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
So we start getting
the less hungry you are, the more information you have, the more likely you are to come up with a crazy idea like our government is abusing us, and then you get all wackadoo. And which brings me up to the next thing that I think they could do, which is if they're already on to creating giant weapons. You're not going to make the best missile. I mean, are you going to beat the Tsar Bomba, the biggest nuclear war? I mean, not close. But what you could do is beat the record of James A. DeCane from Ishimig, Michigan, who has the largest working rifle in the world. They could beat this record.
Yeah, speaking their language now. Oh yeah, no. So now we're speaking their language because it's
a weapon,
guns.
right? It's not useful, but they could easily make something twice this big this year. The largest working rifle, and it would be in Korea.
Yeah, no offense to fucking Jim here. He looks like a great guy.
I like him.
I'm sure someone wants, I'm sure he's.
I like how it's mounted on a truck so you can move it. I mean, they could paint that thing, red and blue and make it 30 times as large and make the largest rifle in the world and just shoot it off, with a blank or even with the shell. And then, there you go. World record, largest rifle. And it's military and it's gaudy and large. And again, you could put the record out of reach. If someone made a rifle slightly larger than Jim, they have the world record tomorrow. But if North Korea made theirs, it could be so large that, and this one is 33 feet long. they can make a 60-foot long one, and then good luck trying to chase them. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And like I said, Jim looks like a great American patriot who has devoted his entire life to his 1950s flatbed Ford truck and his flintlock
and this
rifle that he made as big as possible in 2008. It's been a while ago he made this thing. It's been almost 30 years since 2008 in my mind.
I suppose and to some degree it has more closer
in
to
my
12.
mind. It's been either 30 years 14, or 12 hours. I can't really tell. And
but look at this fucking thing. They could do that.
So all he has to do is in the Americans, in the North Korean spirit, is just take the blueprints for their knockoff Bren gun and just go into their computer aided design program, blow everything up by 50%. Sorry, 5,000%, and then mount it to the back of that fake Mercedes Hyundai thing they have, and they're done. That one's 30 feet. Make it 60 feet. No one's beating that shit. They will win
it for at least another 14 years, probably 100.
Yeah, no problem. Exactly.
Probably never. Which is a big part of these records too, which is that these are usually done by individuals or small groups because they're so specific. If a nation could do it, they could have the resources and mentality that no one would ever beat the record ever again.
Yeah. Yep.
There you go.
Yeah.
Largest working rifle.
Largest working rifle. Okay, my turn.
Let's hear it.
I think that's a great one because that meets them where they're at.
That's more of their speed. I mean, the Domino's thing is cute, it's fun, but and they could do it just with the sheer number of people and their control over the population. But I mean, this is still it's a weapon. They love that shit.
Yeah, they do love that shit. So I'm gonna I've got a couple other ones that are non-military, some more military ones.
Really quick, I'm sorry for all the listeners out there who can't see it. Just picture the look of a rifle and put it on a truck. That's what it is. And
specifically to get more detailed, picture a Revolutionary War flintlock rifle with the fucking whole flint thing and all that stuff, mount it to a 1950s truck in 2008. It's been too long since this record has been broken. It's time.
Yes, I'm sorry. I wanted to describe because I keep forgetting people can't see it if they're listening. But yes,
and it's 33 feet long.
Yeah,
which is
approximately the muzzle goes well over the front of the truck there. But.
Yeah, exactly. So 33 feet is the length of a school bus actually. So
there you go.
So my thought is again because we want them to have some sort of military thing, guns, weapons, whatever it is.
You have to meet them where they're at, as they say.
That's it. You really do. Anytime you want to change anybody, you gotta really meet where they're at. They like guns. You go, guns are cool. It's all good.
Holes are cool. Guns are cool.
Holes are cool. Guns are cool. Indiana's cool. And in 1937, the last biggest Zeppelin
you
crashed
your hand
over New Jersey covered in swastikas. And a
lot
of things wrong with that. It was,
right.
My friend. Yes, the tail had swastikas all over it. So we need a new one of these.
We don't
it's been too long. We don't like swastikas, and we think Zeppelins are fucking awesome. They're very big. They are essentially cities in the sky.
They are right. This is the most one of the most Dylan Joe based podcasts things all the time. They're aircraft. They're superior technology. They're weird as fuck. They're essentially useless in the modern day for military, but they're so cool that you can't ignore them. This is Zeppelins. I think should be our Mount Rushmore of things that the Basement Podcast is into. It's right there.
It's a very
it covers all the bases.
Thing. Yeah, they're so cool. They're the Hindenburgs specifically. Was
it is tough to be
804 feet long, which is way more than the biggest rifle ever mounted to a truck. And
that's nearly 3 football fields long.
Yeah, it's about as long as the Titanic.
Wow.
Yep.
And that's another very famous large vehicle that is famous for being a tragic loss of life in disaster.
And specifically, it's 78 feet shorter than the Titanic.
Just almost got there.
And 4 times larger than the Goodyear blimp.
And that's saying something. That's the biggest blimp I've ever seen.
Yeah, exactly. I saw the Michelin blimp when I was driving through Ohio.
Did you know that the hood Goodyear and the Goodyear blimps are like one of
the only two left ever.
Yeah, like there's no more blimps. Like they're the only blimps.
And this is a huge problem that we're identifying in the basement here today.
I mean, it's like Latin language. We can't
lighter than air. Air travel is like becoming a distinct fucking dinosaur, and it needs to come back. It needs to come back hard. Kim Jong-un needs to recreate a Zeppelin that is, let's just give it 1,000 feet long. Why the fuck not? Add 200 feet.
Yeah. Why not? Yeah, you're almost there anyway.
Why the fuck not? Add 200 feet. Put, throw a North Korean flag in there. It's fine. No one's complaining. It's not a swastika. It's not a symbol of hate. It's close, but it's not.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a symbol of a country full of hate, but
bullshit, whatever it is. But like, be like, hey, no, this is a symbol of we want to, because the Hindenburg, the whole fucking point was in 1937, Nazi Germany wanted to go tour the world to, spew propaganda probably, but overall it was a sign of like trying to get some sort of togetherness of like whatever it is. So it's like, hey, Kim Jong-un, dude, buddy, this is some cool shit,
buddy, pal, guy, chief.
It'll take you a couple weeks, couple months to circumnavigate the globe in this thing. But it's cool. And you go, hey, there it is. Wow, look at that. It's so big. Goddamn. Nice. And now he's on the news and they go, he did this. And it's for no other reason besides, hey, we're on the map. Hey, this is cool. And you go, hey.
And it'd be like watching the International Space Station go overhead where everyone can see it. So not only do they know it's the record, they know it's cool, they can see it for themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the Hindenburg was obviously giant disaster in New Jersey because it crashed and then burned because helium is flammable and whatever it is. It has been almost 100 fucking years since that happened.
Yeah. I mean, come on, we're just going to give up then. Think about how much we've accomplished.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So, it was made of wood and like fucking silk.
They didn't even have like petroleum products. I mean, they could build this thing so much better now.
Plastics didn't exist yet. Exactly. Velcro was invented in the 40s. None of these things have happened yet.
I mean, we could do it so much better.
So now it's like Kim, you can, again, you can put ICBMs in space and shit. And obviously that cool satellite that you had that one time, like,
yeah, you can have it playing that national anthem, but instead of Morse code, it could be speakers.
Yeah, exactly. So exactly. It's fine. I'm not going to bitch about it. Make some cool ass fucking blimp. What do you think is going to happen? A bunch of F-16s are going to shoot down when it hits the coast? It's not going to happen, dude. And they will get approval. How much damage you do? I mean, it could, but like
they could just fuck it up immediately.
It'd hold a nuke.
It wouldn't even be close.
But it has to get approved. They would put it out there. They get approval. They'd probably have some sort of like, US.
Well, yeah, you have to couch it in. It's all about the PR, right? You'd be like, it's our peaceful world tour.
2 years, we're doing a peaceful world tour.
Yeah, we're gonna
come
tour
inspect
the world
in North Korea.
Yeah.
They got to do this the right way. And then they do that. And you go, damn. And then all of a sudden the news, instead of being about fucking COVID, about the Republicans, the Democrats, the fucking this, the fucking Kardashians, Britney Spears' meltdown, her wedding, it's like,
tyrannical world leader bent on world destruction. It could be more about like, look at this giant world record Zeppelin and how
North Korea has taken sharp turn towards being on the map in peaceful ways. And they're going to fly over.
Breaking news. North Korea actually pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. Actually trying to apologize for their mistakes.
Change the narrative. The best they can do right now. Look at Germany. Everyone loves Germany now. Not so long ago, even after the Hindenburg times, not so popular. But now Germany is one of the most liked countries in the world.
Kim Jong-un realizes he's only 36 years old and doesn't know shit, and decides that he's gonna try to
in adult years that's like a baby. In North Korean years he's almost dead, but that's not for a real leader. That's just for regular people. For government officials, he's a baby. He's
exactly.
I mean, his dad died at like 60. His grandfather died at like 70, and they were literally the most powerful and richest man in the country, and that's how long they lived. But that's the night is young, as they say. The night
is young. He just wants fame, cool things. Likes to have a nice, American Heineken every now and then.
Of course, he's got imported shit that
not American. He likes Heinekens because he went to school and.
That's I think those are from the Netherlands, right?
Netherlands, yeah, Amsterdam. But he likes to have a nice bee hoppy every now and then.
Oh, dude, imagine the team up between Wormtown and North Korea. They make us exclusive beer just for Pyongyang.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be great.
Pyongyang. I was trying to think of the punny thing against.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we'll think of it. It'll come to us by the end of the episode.
Don't know. We'll figure it out later. But anyways, that's my thought. I think it's a great idea. I think it's fucking awesome. It's been almost 100 years since someone has done something as cool as that.
Yeah.
I agree. And I think it's time for a commercial break, sponsored by multiple different things in Ohio and Indiana. You guys will see them. But quick commercial break.
I'm so lonely, so lonely, so lonely inside real alone. There's no one, just me only.
Today's episode is brought to you by Niagara Falls.
Seems like no one takes me seriously. And so
How it goes. Yeah, exactly how it goes. So we just we're back from our little commercial break there, and it's time for our next suggestion. Just open, no judgment advice towards Kim Jong-Un.
Absolutely.
And what we think.
But I thought
was money.
Before we head on, I wanted to put my own Joe segment, nerdy shit in here, just to give us some perspective of what North Korea is working with here, as far as our suggestions, as far as their money and all that kind of shit. So we've been throwing numbers out there like 25 million people, relatively yada yada. But I wanted to put on a little more than that, because one of my suggestions has to do with their population. So I looked at the GDP of North Korea.
Oh, yes. By GDP, he means gross domestic product.
That's exactly right. And that is a way, it's a kind of a simplistic way of kind of figuring out how much money a country has to work with per year that they kind of make. So you're thinking, okay, this is how much money you make per year. This is kind of what you're looking for. So the GDP of North Korea is around, again, these are all numbers we're having to guess because they don't really advertise this shit. And they definitely don't tell their people how much it is. They definitely inflate numbers. As far as we can tell, it's relatively close to $19 billion, the country of North Korea. To put that into perspective, the GDP of the state of Massachusetts is $530 billion a year. Just the state of Massachusetts. And to put that into further perspective, the country of South Korea has even larger GDP of $1.6 trillion, which is their neighbor there. So they're not even in the same wheelhouse. From 13 billion to 1.6 trillion is an order of magnitude larger than that. And in fact, the largest city in South Korea is 384 billion. So one of South Korea's cities, the largest city, makes more than 10 times the amount of the entire country of North Korea, which has a nuclear program, and South Korea does not.
Oh my God.
To put that in a further perspective, 19 billion per year. Obviously, you can save some of that up. But the richest people in the world, the top 5, is Warren Buffett at 118 billion, Bill Gates at 129 billion, Bernard Arnault family in France at 158. Bezos has dropped down since his divorce at 177. And currently the top is Elon Musk at $219 billion, which means they all eclipse the entire nation of North Korea, who has a standing army, infrastructure, intranet, fake car company, disco ball launch, and nuclear program by about 10 times as much. So there you go. That's what they have to work with here. All of those billionaires could accomplish a lot more, a lot less than the entire nation of North Korea, as far as the money goes for our records here we have to accomplish. They're not working with that much.
That's true, but they're not a nation. They are just Warren Buffett. So
right. They don't have all.
If a nation wants to do these things, Yep, exactly.
Yeah, but Warren Buffett can pay people to do the same thing that Korea can pay them to do.
He could, or Warren Buffett could make friends with North Korea and say, "Hey, I want to help you guys out."
I actually think that list has changed because I think this week Warren Buffett donated 90% of his total wealth to charity.
He did?
Because I think
he
must
shit on him because I hate his fucking face.
Yeah, no, and I hate everyone who's that rich because it means you had to do a lot of fucked up shit because no one can get that rich without being fucked up. But I mean, it is pretty cool that I think he probably knows he's gonna die maybe this year.
It's for sure. Yeah, he's getting up there. Yeah.
And people like to also obviously jack him off, like they like to do Elon Musk, where they go, "Oh, he's such a nice, normal guy." It's like, no, he's not.
I'm not sure about that.
Oh, but
he has a picture of him like this going. Warren Buffett made the biggest trade of the year.
Yeah, he had the same house in Montana. It's only worth like $200,000. Like, yeah, but
Warren Buffett is in Omaha, Nebraska.
Oh, sorry, Nebraska. That's what I know.
My favorite city in the entire country is Omaha, Nebraska.
Wow, there you go.
Omaha
State.
Have a second house in Omaha, Nebraska. I'm thinking about it. That's where he is. Warren Buffett and Union Pacific are the two biggest companies in Omaha, Nebraska.
And one of them's a person.
Well, Mass Mutual, where the fucking stupid ass thing he has is.
Yeah. Probably not Mass Mutual though, right?
No, because that's Massachusetts, but he's
right.
Omaha Mutual. Let's just say I don't even
Buff
know.
Mutual.
Buff, yeah, the old Buffaroo. 90% of his wealth still leaves him, billions of dollars. But
I know he's still got plenty of money left. It's just that I think he's going to drop down the list because he got rid of most.
He's going to die.
Yeah, he has to. That has to be why. Because he could have done that last year or 10 years ago. He's had the same amount of money, like relatively, for like about 20 years. But he must have had a diagnosis. The doctor said, "You're going to die next month." He said, "Oh, you know what? Might as well go out on top and give the biggest charitable donation by an individual in the history of the planet."
Where he donated to?
I'm sure it's like 100 different charities. If you donate it to one of them, they would just become the richest charity and they would waste all the money immediately.
If it were me, I'd just give it all to St. Jude because I think they're the only.
They wouldn't be able to handle that amount of money, though, don't you think? It'd be too much.
I'm sure you'd figure it out if someone gave me $100 billion.
No, but they would.
I can't handle it.
I'm not saying they couldn't. Logistically, I'd say it would ruin them. They'd become the most rich organization on the planet, and they would corruption would set in immediately.
I disagree because what they already do
bullshit.
St. Jude. Wait, no. If you go to St. Jude with your kid only though, there's a limit. There's a Daniel Tosh thing where it's like. He goes into sick kids and then who are like 17 and he's like, "Wow, you just made the cut. Thank God you weren't 18 or else you wouldn't be here."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. St. Jude is similar to that where, there is a cutoff for kids. It's like all of a sudden you're 18 and you can't get help. Once
you become an adult, you're on your own with terminal cancer.
Sorry, kid. You're going to figure out, you're sorry, guy, but St. Jude is one of those places where you go there, you can get cancer treatment for your kid and they go, "You don't owe us anything."
Yeah, no, it's a noble organization.
No copay, no nothing.
And I'm sure they have.
And they even provide things like transportation to and from the hospital for your child.
No, it's
like
great.
if you're going to give to anybody, I think St. Jude is the cleanest one. I don't know what their CEO makes, whatever, but like I know like even the Red Cross, which is doing pretty good. Their CEO still makes a couple $100,000 a year, So it's like, do you give money to them? Like, you gotta really do your research if you're going to give.
It's tough, but I think even the most noble non-profit organization, if you dump 1,000 times their national income and at one point it's gonna be ugly. You just can't do it. It's not feasible for any. It's like doing it to a human. You give a homeless person $1 million. It's not their fault. They will fuck it up. It's not fair. It's like it's too much at once. You have to grow with it. You have to feel like you earned it. If you give St. Jude Hospital, what was it? $100 billion, it would help a lot more people than it would hurt. And it would not be a bad idea, but it would change the organization forever. Yeah. It would never be the same after that.
Yeah.
Because people who don't care about it would all of a sudden care. And they go, "Oh yeah, I'm a consultant for nonprofits and you pay me this much money. We can turn this into this." It's all the outsiders come swooping in.
Makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, and then exactly that. You're like, I'm going to help them try to spend their money by making sure they pay me $100,000.
Yeah, and then all the fucking shitheads that didn't care about it last week, all of a sudden they care about it.
Yeah,
and they start picking the corpse apart. So I don't know for sure, but I imagine they split it between like 100 different charities just to make it so they all get something and that they can kind of handle the money coming in and not be a target for charlatans.
Yeah, and
I don't know though.
I don't know either. Yeah.
Anyways, so, North Korea could probably use that money, but for example, they would use it the wrong way.
They would, unless, however, anyone who's had a wedding that got paid for by someone else, this wasn't the case with me, but I've heard a lot of horror stories, is that, you know, the second you take money from somebody else, you're under a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, now you owe them. You don't owe them.
You owe them like, hey, we invited you for dinner and you didn't show up. We paid for your wedding. You know,
like you don't want to be in debt to anybody, whether it's
never, ever. Our advice in the Dillinger Based podcast, coming straight from the basement, is that don't take money from people. Like,
if you pay for your own way, then no one can tell you what the fuck to do. As soon as you take a dime,
unless they're gonna die soon, like unless it's Warren Buffett giving you money and he's gonna die soon.
You can, but even then, his kids or his organization will tell you what to do with the money afterwards. If you take anything from anybody, you owe them something.
Yeah, it's tough because it's like some people are generally good people, but they're still in your head. It's like when your girlfriend cheats on you and then you decide to get back together, and then you a year later have a fight and because over something that is like not even that big deal, and you go, well, I took you back after you cheated on me. It's
always over your head
ever again. Ever will this not be a thing? So it's like, it's one of those situations.
And then you have to be malicious. Like you said, even if someone's trying to help you out, if they give you $1 million out of the kindness of their own heart, you're obligated to take their advice. Even just that very little part. It's like, you can be like, well, I'll decide. It's like, no, you won't. I give you $1 million. I didn't ask for a cent of it back. Like, you're going to listen to me. Like, you're beholden as soon as you take the money. In North Korea, I hope you understand that, because when we give you this money, you are beholden to us and you shall follow our edicts to break these records. And with that, I don't want to go too much deeper into this charity money thing. And do you have the next world record that we should beat with them?
I do.
Please,
I absolutely do. And,
all right, cool.
And I just want to shout out to a movie while I'm pulling this up. Hindenburg, Titanic of the Skies, from 2007.
Oh, wow. That's a good name, because that really is what it is.
Yeah, and there's a really interesting fact of this movie that I didn't know, is that nobody's seen it yet. So it's from 2007, and I don't think there's a human being who's ever watched this. And it's directed by Sean Grundy. And
Sean Grundy,
and
no relation to Solomon, I imagine.
I don't know. I didn't ask, but
he was born on Tuesday. Born on Monday, married on Tuesday, dead by Wednesday.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is Solomon Grundy.
I see your joke here. It's just kidding. I've never heard of this fucking movie in the whole world. So someone should watch it and let us know how it is. I think it might not be in English. So anyways, on my list,
classic not knowing what you're recommending until you're looking it up right now.
No, because it just showed up on my fucking ads. That's why I'm saying it. Because I was looking up the Hindenburg, and all of a sudden it's like Hindenburg, Titanic of the Sky. It's like a little different because one was covered in swastikas, so it's not the same at all. Actually, like it's a little different. And
comparison.
On that note, just 2 seconds of just North Korea, just make another fucking Titanic. That's cool.
Yeah, Titanic V3 or whatever.
V3, like, hey, we're having a North Korea to San Francisco, like, cool cruise.
You can put,
and it's huge
population on it.
It doesn't look like a Carnival cruise. It looks like a really cool, like, really nice ship.
Yeah,
cool.
That's their thing, though. They don't want anyone to leave, so they don't want to build a big ark, Noah style, and have an exodus of people. If they built one of those, it would have no beds. It would just be like a big piece of metal that just was there for the measurements and not for like the actual build.
No,
like,
but we're consultants, Joe. Where'd you miss that?
This is what I'm telling. This is why I'm saying this. You guys should build the biggest ship ever made, and then have no one live on it, because that way no one could leave. You can still build the biggest ship, bigger than the Titanic, but have no one stay on it besides people who work for you. because they're not going to be cool with putting it full of citizens, even though that would be better than Titanic, because then they'd get to leave the country, and that would not be in their interest at all. They want to stay in there. That's
true, but just for the, exactly. But they still
maybe they just have like those paper stand-ups you have in like a record store, where like you put them in the window and be like, oh, look at all the people, but it's just like a cardboard cutout of someone. Like,
you
smiling.
mean from Home Alone?
Yes, yeah, from Home Alone, that one. Yeah.
The dance scene, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know. Okay. Yeah, it's just a thought.
I like that. I like that idea though.
Again, on my list,
they have the ability to do it.
They have the ability to do it. We know their GDP is not great. GDP does not mean that's how much money they have.
No, it just means how much money they're earning per year. And the longer the years go on, the less that.
And we know they're not spending a whole lot. So there's,
Yeah. And that doesn't also account for the amount of money that China gives them to keep on their side, which I imagine is probably equal or more to the GDP. I assume it's probably more.
I assume it's probably 10 times more.
Yeah,
if I have to guess.
True, because
North Korea's export
isn't even running
is North Korea has like a very small amount of exports making that up, that GDP. One of them is oil.
Yeah, well, all of the exports are going to basically China and nowhere else. They really don't.
Yeah. So all right. I just want to full disclosure this on everyone, our listeners. I did make this list after I had 3 Manhattans, and then I decided to have a glass or two of absinthe. It
wouldn't be the podcast without it. Also, quick aside, the number one export is coal, and I bet you can guess where that's going.
Right into China.
Yeah, I would assume so.
I was trying to think of something funny, but I don't have any.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, that's funny.
The biggest coal consumer in the world. They are best friends with North Korea. For why? North Korea is not providing anything to them, unless it's a fuel source, which is coal.
A fuel source.
There you go. Makes
so I just, again, this isn't what I'm going to talk about, because I do have a next best thing that they could do, but I just want to make sure that everyone knows what my notes look like. That's the most important thing, because this is a podcast from a basement. So,
it is.
And
it always shall be.
And absinthe is not to be messed around with. I did throw up violently for like an entire night on Monday, and because I had 3 Manhattans, and then I had
that is part of the equation, right? Absinthe by itself, we're having one glass.
Fine. But
if you add 3 Manhattans into there, now we got to fucking
but also 3 Manhattans. 3 Manhattans is where you stop. You go, I'm good. You wake up in the morning, you'll probably feel fine. 3 Manhattans is not enough.
No way, dude. Every time you tell me a story about having 3 Manhattans, you're like, oh my god, I was fucking shit.
Do I say that?
When you told me 3 Manhattans last time, I was like, that's the number. 3 Manhattans from
that's the number. That's where you stop.
It's the magic number. Well, I mean, that's where you stop before you get too blackout. But like, I never heard you tell a story about 3 Manhattans. Then it was like, and then it was all. And I woke up, I was fucking fresh as a daisy. You're always like, why did I have 3 Manhattans? I could have had 2 Manhattans and then gone. Oh,
that's a good
I think
point.
3 is like, it is the limit. So then you add absinthe on top of that. And I think you're right.
And this isn't some pussy absinthe either. It's the absinthe that was made from the original factory. It's either in France or Amsterdam. I forget where it's actually from, but like on the bottle, it's like very specifically like this is the Wormwood place.
It's the
real one. And
that American bullshit.
I didn't have anything else. And I was like, I'll just have a little bit. It'll be fine. Yep. And it was nuts. But I wrote this list, and it's a pretty good list from that day.
I'm very
except for the end of the list. It's okay.
But just as far as alcohol consumption goes, your boy Dylan's a fucking tank. You fucking pussies can't handle that. Don't act like he's Manhattans. No. If it was most of you folks, you would be on the fucking floor an hour earlier. So don't act like you can't.
I am honored for this. And then also part of this was to make a good list for the Dylan
absolutely. And
here's
podcast the fruits of your labor.
Is that which included the deep hole. I have a lot of things on here. The nuclear waste in the Earth's core, blimps, Zeppelins, large boat like the Titanic. And then the one piece, though, is because you can see where things fall off a little bit as the absinthe did its magic before the room started spinning, is that I wrote, and I need some help with this one. I just wrote, quote unquote, be the new Ed Gain with skin lamps.
Okay, so take all the people who are murdered in your country and start sewing them into furniture instead of putting them in a pit.
I don't want to get too dark, but
I think that's what you meant.
Ed Gein did take his victims and sew them and made them into lampshades.
Yes, the inspiration for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre film, Ed Gein. Yeah.
Ed Gein. So I said that
it is dark, but it is a better use of, I guess, if you want to break the record. And they're already there. I mean, like, talking about meeting them halfway. They are a tyrannical dictatorship of violence and murder. So why not turn these murdered folks into something more staying power, which is tanned leather?
Yeah. So I wrote that, and I just want everyone to know that I definitely did wrote that, because
that is rough.
I have a reason why I wrote that, and this is the reason.
This is a basement podcast.
And I don't know what else to say about that. That's why,
I mean, that's what it is.
That's got to be the reason. It'd be the new Ed Gein with skin lamps. I can't. It's the absent speaking. I don't know. So and I don't know what else to say about that. I really wish I had a better understanding of where I was thinking there. So
it's something like that, though. Oh man, I was trying to so you could say skin lamps.
I think you should do that. Make sure that everyone knows that.
I don't know why it's not playing it.
I can hook you up with that.
It's not useful. All right, so yeah,
I got that. I got more too. But do you have any other reasons why I would think that North Korea?
I think I would have to assume that you were watching something about serial killers. I hope
I don't think I was. I think it was just I was just laying in bed and I thought of that. That's
well, you had to get on some kind of tangent about murder or lamps or something.
This is it. This is it right here.
Skin lamps.
There you go.
No, dude, I'm dead. I really don't think I was on anything. I think I was just laying in bed going, they should be the new Ed Gein with skin lamps. I don't really know where that's at, and we could
Ed Gein is Dylan's idol.
Gein is Dylan's idol. It's human creation. It's fine. Skin lamps from your killers.
I mean, it is a dark valley to go down, but I mean, we're already down the dark valley in North Korea, and the amount of murder on their own population is astronomical. So I guess you do something with it. But
lampshade manufacturers, I'm not sure, but I do have one actual idea for them that could be
next on the list.
Really, you think Ed Warren,
Ed Gein.
No, I'm all confused now. Warren Buffett.
Oh wow, that's the like Kevin Bacon game. Ed Gein, Ed Warren Buffett,
Warren Gein,
Elizabeth Warren.
No one has ever combined Warren Buffett with Ed Gein. I've yet to see it
until now,
and it's been done now. No, is that Yeah, he did great with his donation or whatever to some fucking charity that probably
skin donations. Oh, no, we're talking about Buffett now.
Oh yeah, money, not skin. And so North Korea has a hunger problem, and it's their own. It's obviously it's their choosing because they want to.
It's completely
forcible. They want to do that to make sure that they have power people, and we're saying that that's wrong, as you can imagine. But
we're taking a hard stance against forced hunger against your population. Yes.
Yeah, hard stance on that.
It's a great pastime of their two neighbors, China and Russia, which are the perpetrators of the largest scale forced famines in human history, which killed more people than the Holocaust on both fronts.
Yeah, so we have
Russia and China killed more people than Hitler ×2 by forced starvation.
Yeah. So
how's that for a headline for the podcast?
It's a headline, and we are obviously
following in their footsteps of their older brothers, Russia and China, their neighbors. They say, well, let's do that too. That'll be good for us to do.
So if we're going to think of the opportunities here that this presents, is that there's a universal food source, which as we go through the world, there are problems. There we are, like farms, these things, it's kind of hard. There was one dude in his 20s who realized that he hates fucking buying food. So he created something called Soylent.
Soylent Green.
People. Soylent is like a milkshake thing that is 200 or 400 calories. It's a meal replacement like Boost or like Ensure, only more, and it's not for old people who are dying.
And did he name it after the movie, or it was like he made this in the 60s? Because there's a movie where Soylent Green is the movie, and they find out at the end of the sci-fi movie that they've been eating people the whole entire time. The famous line, "Soylent Green is people. Soylent Green is people." It's like the big twist of the movie. Serious? I'm not kidding. It's called Soylent Green. Yeah, they've been. It's like a sci-fi future world, but they've been drinking the substance that keeps you alive, and they've realized they've been eating people the entire movie, called Soylent Green. So the guy either named it.
He came after that.
Well, then he named it after the movie where you eat people. That's a fucking shitty name for you.
That's fucking hilarious and insane. He went. This guy. Name. So he was a college student, and this is the whole story behind this kid. He made this product that's made of like, it's canola oil mixed with some sort of protein source, mixed with as cheap as living possible. So per meal, it's like $1.50.
The most calories per dollar.
Calories per dollar, which means it's going to be shitty ingredients, but it's going to get you where you need to get to stay alive. And
tomorrow, I guess.
He lived off it for 12 or 24 months, never having anything else ever. So
what a miserable fucking existence.
What he proved, but his whole point was that he's the inventor of this. So he proved that it's possible. And your body can do this because it gives you. He literally looked up what a body needs to live, and he's going to make it in a drink for as cheap as possible. So you don't have to eat the food; you just have to drink this drink 3 times a day. And
his research is worth a lot more than his product he's going to make out of it.
Yeah, so he's doing just fine. So the whole point is that was still a failure to some point because it fucking sucks and it makes you shit your brains out.
Yeah, and he probably died 5 years after because you've ruined your entire body.
You're meant to chew and eat food. We're really just meant to eat fucking raw meat as soon as you kill it, basically.
Yeah.
But just it's a good opportunity for North Korea to come to the market in the food industry, making some sick shit that keeps people alive and tastes good and is sustainable.
I'm sure their population would be happy since they're all starving to death.
It's a good place to start. Just go, hey, well, we got this new thing. They have a universal food source where you guys, okay, now all of a sudden you guys, need to eat this stuff and it's going to keep you guys alive. And it gives them good opportunity to now make money off of that because we know obviously their GDP is a problem. We now added a food source they can export that can be sustainable.
They should probably import it first though, because of the fact that their population is starving to death and everyone is malnourished except for the highest levels of government.
Yeah, but we're saying that's, we want them to create something on their own instead of bombs.
Yeah.
Create food.
Yeah, that would be good. I'm down for that. I'm definitely down for this idea. They could create the cheapest food source in the world.
It's either that or Ed Gein lampshades, dude.
One of the two. But that makes me want to bring up the rankings of North Korea in the world. As far as like I said, we can't say this enough. They have nuclear missile capabilities. They haven't accomplished it yet, but they have nuclear weapons, and their corruption index, based on different studies around the world, this is out of 176. They're 174 most corrupt nation in the world. Democracy index, they are ranked last on the planet.
That's bad.
Global Peace Index, they're 13th to last.
Oof.
Freedom Index, they're ranked last. I mean, these are countries that are highly, they're ranked lower than places like Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia, because I talked to them on a couple weekly basis. Women can go to they hold the same rankings at a lot of jobs because I talked to them in Saudi Arabia and they're quite educated and quite well. You would think Saudi Arabia would be very bad.
That's the kind of example.
They are very bad, but they are still. I still talk to the women there at work.
Yeah, well, and they're highly monitored. Their global slavery index, they're ranked number 1 because 4.3 of their population is in slavery, and they're all citizens. This is not shipped in. This is not human trafficking. This is their own population. Their world moral freedom index, I don't know what that means. I guess it's for freedom people to make choices based on morality.
Based on their own morals, yeah.
They're 127 to 160. Global hunger index, they're 20th from last. So this includes countries that are in international starvation and their government's trying to feed them. North Korea is that low because they're trying not to feed them. And the global watch list, they are number one, the most dangerous, unstable nation in the world, North Korea. I mean, they just really blow the doors off of you can't get much worse with what you have. They're actively trying to be the shittiest country in the world, and they have resources, they have technology, they have knowledge, and they're hiding it from all their citizens, and they're starving them to death willingly. I mean, it's out of control. They really got.
We're just here trying to change that by saying,
trying to change that.
Guys, focus on
change the narrative here, North Korea.
Again, if we were to ask, yes, obviously, everything related to treatment of your citizens and genocide, reverse that. We're not trying to deny that, but we're saying
it's not a good look.
It's not a good look.
I mean, it's all just because you and your grandfather and your dad are supposed to be kings
from this.
I mean, let's not forget the absurd records that they claim their leaders hold, which is that Kim Jong-il has the record for most hole-in-ones in a golf game. Can you guess how many? In one round of golf, how many he got? Most hole-in-ones.
I would imagine he holds every single record for everything, right?
Basically so, but can you guess how many hole-in-ones that Kim Jong-il got in one round of golf, according to North Korea?
100.
Well, how many holes are there in golf?
9. 1.
Double it.
18.
Yes.
He has
got
18
hole-in-one, which means that every time he hit the ball, it went in the hole.
So good at golf.
Yeah. He's bowled a perfect game. And at one point in time, he didn't shit for a year.
Yeah, makes sense.
Because his body is so well maintained that he didn't have to, there's no waste. It's just all clean.
This is Kim
Jong-Un. Can you imagine
feeding
feeding that to your population, not food, but information, and telling them that your world leader, who's a fat piece of shit over here, he is the best golfer on the planet, and he can do the most push-ups, and he can run the fastest mile. I mean, it is literally the highest level of cultist propaganda that this fat shit loser is the most athletic person on the planet. Better than Olympic athletes.
No,
this little fatty over here. He's like 5'3", 200 pounds. I mean, come on. It's absurd.
And he's 36 years old.
It's hard to even tell. Like, is it that like they believe it because they've only been fed that since birth, or is it that they claim to believe that because to not believe it is tantamount to execution or slavery? So they might say that, but how many of them, if you could really dive into their mind, how many of them truly believe all that shit? I mean, some of them
until you listen to the podcast, until you listen to Joe Rogan podcast with.
I didn't listen to that, but I happen to know a little bit about it. Just
you should listen to it. I highly recommend everyone listen.
A lot of what I know about North Korea doesn't come from the Joe Rogan podcast. You know?
No, but honestly, I know you're whatever you're doing right now.
I'm not against Joe Rogan. I'm just saying that there's other ways to learn about North Korea than listening to one person on one podcast.
Yeonmi Park is a woman in her early 30s who escaped North Korea and went into China, and then she talks about her story. Yeah, and it's absolutely incredible and heartbreaking and just devastating in every way, shape, and form. And because again, we all know everything that like you're saying, and that we've all read, and that whatever it is.
Do we know all of it?
The way that what you're saying right now is that because I struggle personally, Dylan.
Your comp, as it
from
were.
The Dylan Joe Basin podcast, I can relate to what I know, and until I do it myself, it can be very hard to put myself in people's shoes. I am pretty good at people thinking that I'm empathetic and whatever it is, but overall it sometimes can be hard. I'm just very socially
it's hard for anybody to empathize. You have to be close.
It is, but yeah, exactly. But like when I listen to actually go, North Korea is really fucked up, but like as we speak on this podcast, it's very bad. It's as bad as it possibly gets. No, we weren't trying to go here, but like it's really, really bad. And then you listen to someone who escaped there, who lives in like Pennsylvania now.
Yeah.
And she's the same age as us.
Yep.
And you know what she went through, and she talks about it for like 3 hours. Yeah. It's unbelievable. I mean, people are eating rats in subways. People are, on top of the fact that if that like her, she basically she said that her entire family and her neighborhood are killed just for knowing her.
Yeah.
They're all dead because they
part of
knew
leaving
her.
is that everyone you leave behind.
If
is
you
going to
leave,
be put
they're going to
in
get
prison
killed.
and
They're going to be
Yeah.
no, they're going to be dead. Like they're going to get killed on the spot or go to a concentration camp type of thing or whatever it is. Is that actually that bad?
Yeah, I'm not saying that I only know these. I'm reading stats off a webpage. I've watched interviews from people who escaped. I know like what it takes to leave, and they're flying over balloons with flash drives, so people can put it in the computer and they can learn about like shit going outside. Like it's insane over there, and they have a whole industry in South Korea to try to get people over, but it's insanely dangerous, and it's all charity basically because if you get caught, like you said, everyone in your family's dead, and everyone who's on the other side of the thing's dead too. And China is working hard to make that difficult to happen because North Korea wants it to not to happen. And if their number one ally is one of the most powerful nations on the planet, they do a pretty good job at it. If they're surrounded by three nations, if Russia and China were down for North Korea being fucked up and they could help people in North Korea would have no chance. But because Russia and China are down for their bullshit, they continue to be fucked up. And South Korea is friends with America, which makes them hate South Korea even more. And that's why China's like, let's make it harder for them to leave.
Yeah, exactly.
If it was up to them, they'd have no one living there. It would be over.
Well, and the reason that we can't just send a bunch of, SEAL Team 6 over to Pyongyang to go assassinate all their senior leadership, including Kim Jong-un, is that they're 100% funded and backed by China. So by killing the North Korean leadership, we are starting a war with China.
Right. And so they count on
if anyone doesn't know that who's listening to this is that's exactly the situation. That's why we can't just go, well, there's someone who we can definitely just have a Navy SEAL drop out of a 40,000 feet halo jump to go sit in a field for 7 weeks to get one shot on a guy and blow his fucking head off. We can do it, no question. But that means
it wouldn't solve it.
That means that is essentially an act of war against China, and that's the problem. It's just so much more complicated than that. It's so fucked up. Yeah, it's really bad. So, where do you want to go now?
That brings me to the exact same thing we're talking about, which is I was thinking that their record. And my last record, I promise you, is funny because we're going to get off this topic of sad stuff.
Yeah, we had to. It would come up eventually.
But I'm doing one more sad topic, which is that I think that they could potentially set the record for the largest revolution in human history if they all turned against their government, which would be impossible without information and powers they don't have. But the largest revolution on record right now is the Russian Revolution at about 200,000 non-military, non-government people fighting against their own government, which it seems like a small number, but if you're talking about actual warfare, a 200,000 person army is gigantic if you have a military. And this is regular people fighting against their own government. For example, the American Revolution had 231,000, and that was backed by a government. And that was a revolution by government. The Russian Revolution is only 200,000. North Korea you wouldn't even be able to stop them because they have 25 or so million people. If you even had most of those people, let's say 15 million, you'd have the largest revolution ever. Just turn against them, grab your knives, grab your pitchforks, whatever you got to have, and unload on them, which brings me to the insane idea that the largest standing army on the planet, number 3, China doesn't list their full army on record. If it was, it's got to be larger. But number 1, United States active duty military personnel, 1.3 million. The largest army on the planet on record that's like listed as the military. Number 2, North Korea.
What?
That's right. That's what the fuck? Talk about priorities. Number 1, United States, 1.3 million. Number 2, North Korea, 1.2. Number 3, Russia, 1 million. How fucking crazy is that? North Korea's priorities are so strict that they have the second largest standing army on record in the world. This is what we're talking about here, folks. They put their priorities in the wrong spot. Nuclear weapons, and then the army. I mean, they're beating Russia for active military personnel, only followed by Pakistan at 500,000. South Korea, also 500,000. I mean, what the fuck?
Dude, these numbers are so fucking off.
I imagine that China is higher than the United States because their population is so much larger. But
China
on record,
I think China is like twice the amount of the United States. Like if anything, like
for their army. But
yes.
But on record, the United States has the largest standing army in the world, and it has been since World War II. But North Korea is listed at number 2. Highest number of active duty military personnel, 1.2, nearly as much as the United States. And which if you say, let's round it to 1, that's about 5% of their population is in the military, which in the United States, that would be less than 0.05% of our entire population. It's crazy. We have the biggest army in the world on record. But I mean, what the fuck? So they could potentially set the record for not only Guinness Book, but the largest peasant revolt of all time, if even 10% of their population rose up. But unfortunately, they would be met with the exact same number of military personnel. So what are you going to do?
Yeah. And the thing is like, as we've seen in, the Ukraine-Russia conflict, is that most of the Russian military don't necessarily know what's going on or agree with what's going on. So if all their friends and family are against the military, you're going to get some people who are brown nosers, and then the majority of them will be like, I'm threatened to get my head blown off, but I'm also going to be forced to kill my entire family personally.
Right.
So I'd rather go do that. And then that's how you get to change the
numbers aren't everything at that point. But yeah, I mean, that they have to have the record currently of the highest number percentage-wise of military personnel versus total population. I mean, they have almost as much as America, and they have only 28 million people, and America has 330 million. So, I mean, what the fuck? So there you go.
Wow. Jesus, fuck. Yeah. So I got to take another commercial break.
You got it. When we come back, folks, we're getting back to silly time. But we had
silly time. We got to say it because we didn't. Yeah, here's what it is.
We had to.
A bit around me. Pour it on me.
Injured? Blackbird Romney's got your back.
There's nobody I can relate to.
Oh my God, it's the Orange X. Oh my God, it's the Orange X. It's the Orange X. Oh my God, Cummings Properties can lick my balls. Oh, you guys, look at the Orange X. It's the Orange X. The goddamn Orange X. Still here. Look at it. Look at the Orange X. I'm about to hit somebody. Ah!
Well, as we know that Kim Jong-Un does love basketball. So let's take it away. We're back after our commercial break on the Dylan Joe Basement broadcast. And
welcome back, folks.
Welcome back to everybody. I heard on athlonsports.com that Kim Jong-Un body slammed Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, and King Kong simultaneously to win WrestleMania 6. I'm not sure if that happened, but
one of them is a live wrestler in his late 70s. One of them is a dead wrestler, and one of them is a giant mythical ape. And
all right, well, this one's probably real then, is that the NBA Jams video game is a digital documentary of Kim Jong-il's real-life basketball skills.
Wow. I always wonder what they base that off of. That is, I mean, these guys are
fascinating. Yeah, it's based off of Kim Jong-il.
Wow. Boom shakalaka.
Seriously. There's some other fun facts here too, like Kim Jong-il was the first man to ever run a 4-second mile.
That's what I was trying to say earlier. Like, he just ran the fastest mile ever. You know what I mean?
4-second mile. I mean, that's.
Oh, those goddamn ads. I was trying to do the Stephen Hawking thing.
Does it say?
Kim Jong-un is a fat shit. Boom shock lock.
That's. We agree, Stephen Hawking. Thank you so much.
Stephen, not me.
Straight from Stephen. Well, also, which is also DJ BP. They're the same. One the same.
Oh yeah, I mean to say DJ BP just uses this voice synthesizer, but he has his own thoughts.
Yeah, Kim Jong-un this time once hit a bunt walk-off grand slam when he wasn't even playing baseball.
Wow, that would already be amazing, but he's not even playing baseball.
He's not even playing baseball, and he still hit a bunt grand slam.
Wow, that is just. Imagine how far that ball has to go when you're not even holding a bat.
Yeah, it also says during his first game ever of horse, he dunked a basketball so hard it scared the AIDS out of Magic Johnson.
End it there. You can't beat that.
All right, I'm done with the fun facts.
That's like the new Chuck Norris thing. Is like Kim Jong-Un is so amazing that this is what he did.
Yeah,
that is fucking amazing.
It's really something. That's amazing. I can't
believe.
God.
We did bring him up briefly during our Poison episode when he had his friends do a little bit of Febreze in the guy's face and he died in the airport. So he's willing to kill.
Yeah, I didn't know he did that too, but that's really unbelievable. It's incredible he did that.
Yep. Yeah. It's such a country, as you say. Oh yeah, he also had one of his top generals, which is his uncle, because it's, it is a government, but it's a government by it's like the old-fashioned king shit where everyone
nepotism, the Good Boys Club.
Yeah, the guy went against him and they had him torn apart by dogs in front of a live audience. So that's always a fun thing.
Hey, you get what you get. You don't get upset,
You get what you get. You don't get upset. That's what he says.
What do you expect is going to happen? You get torn by dogs to being part of something. It's
what a guy. What a country, as Yakov Smirnoff would say. When you want to do 2 more records and then wrap this thing up, let's
do 2 more records and wrap this fucking thing up. Yeah.
What do you got? What do you think?
What do I got? I at the moment have got I wrote a couple more and I'm not sure exactly where to start on this one. But I do want to say that, okay, all right, pretty cool. If this encompasses a lot of different things of theirs that they could do, because they could put a car brand on the map besides the one that we mentioned,
right?
Or just take that one. I forget the name of it. They could take that one and create an F1 team, Formula One.
Hell yeah!
Add some drivers, a whole entire team, and get on the map.
They already have, their population is already skinny enough and short enough due to malnutrition that they probably be smaller than most F1 drivers already. So you're already halfway there. Just teach them the skills.
Just duplicate the technology that the Junma luxury car built by Pyeonghwa Motors. Make a Pyeonghwa Motors Junma Formula One car and Formula One team.
Take on the Ferrari and Mercedes and Red Bull teams as Pyeonghwa, the new champs of F1.
Exactly. And just get the fuck in that competition. Get in there.
Let's go. China will probably front you the money.
Exactly. So instead of, they'll front you the technology.
They already steal all our technology and world technology. I mean, it's insane the amount of shit they've stolen from the world, but their copyright claims court doesn't exist internationally. So they can just steal our shit. And then what are you going to do? Sue us? We're China. You can't sue us. You have to invade. You're not going to do so. Fuck you.
Exactly. So join F1. Make a fucking dope ass team.
You'd be the first race team, I would imagine, for the first season win right away. Like their first year, they win the whole thing.
We hope so. I mean, and if they think it's not possible,
we hope so is actually the name of his cousin.
Oh, good one. Do you think Red Bull makes fucking cars? No, but they said we make energy drinks and we're going to make a car now for F1 and we're going to do it. And they did.
Exactly.
So no reason why you guys can't do that. You get in there and know what happens? You win. We invite you to the United States or to Versailles or wherever you want. And we say, I think here's a trophy.
Hard. Maybe Singapore.
No, but F1 is done mostly in Europe and as well as the Middle East and as well as Asia.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll invite them, and if they win, you go, hey, here's a trophy. Now North Korea has a trophy for F1, and we go, we support this type of advancement and achievement and technology and cultural culture. And and this is awesome. We appreciate the Junma Pyeonghwa Motors Formula One team. You guys fucking kicked ass. Nice fucking job. Keep doing things like this.
Keep more of this, please.
We don't need more war. It's a mess.
We don't need more war.
So that's my thought: is make a Formula One team.
That's a great fucking idea, man.
Good idea.
And it would be respected on an international level because F1 is a major international stage.
F1 is it.
And it's still technological achievements.
Soccer's whatever. No one fucking cares. This is technological, which we know North Korea loves.
They love that shit.
They love that shit. They got an operating system that's like Linux. They love technology.
Mm-hmm.
We go cars.
And you're copying the West like you like.
Yeah, exactly. And then you actually have a chance. You really do. Like
if an entire nation entered F1, I mean, come on.
Exactly. Putting a nuclear missile into orbit and then hitting a target the size of a traffic cone is tough. But the United States have been doing it for 50 years.
Right.
And you guys aren't even fucking remotely anywhere near that.
Nope.
Drop it. But having a Formula One team and you guys have all the fucking land and racetracks in the world that you want to have for training and technological advancements, it's homologated. Meaning meaning one and the same thing. So the cars are pretty much all the same.
So just do it right. And you could be the only team with no sponsors because your only sponsor could be the People's Republic of North Korea. So that your driver would just have the flag. Imagine your flags are all over it. When you get the podium to play the Morse code song of your people, it'll be a great PR move. The world will respect you. It's a slam dunk, really. Boom shakalaka.
And we just think from the DJVP is that like once they start seeing more of this type of stuff, they'll start focusing less on the bad stuff in their world that they're focusing on. That is taking energy, negativity, money, these things. They go, we're going to support F1. Support F1. You need to have happy people. You have to have good mechanics. You have to have these things. So as a whole, the country will start to morph. Could take 20 years, could take 40, could take 50, but it's going to take time for them to grow into a country that's supporting healthy and fucking awesome habits like making an F1 team.
Right. There's glory to be gained outside of bloodshed. I know it's hard to understand when your entire country was founded after a war. I know it's hard to see that. And your entire dictatorship is based on violence to maintain order. But you can gain glory without bloodshed.
Yeah,
it can happen.
Yeah, it's more fulfilling, you know. Like, you know, I was in Indiana. I shot a gun or two. I know what the rush of that feels like. It's all good, but there's a bigger rush from winning Formula One championship.
And also, you're shooting a watermelon, not a human skull.
Shooting a watermelon in a cardboard drawing of someone with a tits and a penis at the same time. It's very strange.
That's progressive.
Exactly, and you know, I get it. You know, but we need to, once they see the rush of like actual positive achievements, not just shooting a gun. Okay.
Yes.
It's going to feel better and you're going to be enlightened and you're going to move towards shifting your entire economy and everything you do and your mission for your country and the world. You'll start doing sick shit.
Absolutely. Which brings me to my final suggestion to Kim Jong-Un himself, which I think this is not only the most achievable goal they could have, but also the most likely. And this one might not even take you and I pushing him towards it. All it takes is more in the right direction that he's already going on. And that is to set the world record as the fattest world leader in human history.
Yes.
You're already halfway there, buddy. Go. I think you can do it. You're already a big fatty as far as a world leader, and no one can depose you without being murdered by dogs or, you know, some kind of chemical spray. So I brought up a list of the fattest world leaders. I think you can beat them.
Let's hear it. Yep. Let's
go. I think you can get number one. And it goes a little something like this. So we have Kublai Khan, obviously the grandson of the great Genghis Khan. And imagine having an empire that big and all you're eating is horse milk and butter every day.
Wait, you can milk a whoa. Slow down. You can milk a horse?
Well,
they're mammals.
I have nipples. Can you milk me, Greg?
It's a good quote.
Every mammal has milk, and especially livestock mammals. So Mongols who live their whole lives by war, by travel, and by domestication, they drank a lot of horse milk.
No,
and it's not.
Way. Do you think that's
why the cows we have now, where you can milk them all the time? It's like they have to be pregnant, but you can milk them. They drink a lot of horse milk. Do you think
that's why our society is collapsing? Is because males are not drinking horse milk anymore, and we're now not as strong?
I don't know, but look at Mongolia. They took over the largest swath of land in human history militarily.
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I lift weights sometimes.
I'm not saying it's not the right move,
but I think that modern day males are missing horse milk. I mean, Genghis Khan repopulated the earth. We're all related to him. Literally everyone.
And that's fueled by horse milk.
Horse milk is the answer to modern day society. And
you heard it here first.
If you want to repopulate or you're not fertile, horse milk. Yep. I never thought this.
All that good shit. Next on the list, we have King Henry VIII, famous fat ass. He had so many wives, and he actually broke apart from the Catholic Church just so he could divorce and bang more. And he blamed all of his wives for not getting pregnant. Now, there's a classic saying, which is that when you look out at the world and they're all assholes, it's probably not them. It's probably you. Look inward. And when you have 9 wives and none of them can get pregnant, look at the common denominator.
You're not drinking horse milk.
But not Henry VIII. He said, fuck you. You're all barren bitches and you can't handle it. And I'm a big fatty and I can drink all the horse milk I want. And it's your fault. And I'm going to change the entire course of the planet by splitting the Catholic Church from England. And I'm going to kill all my wives who can't bear children. And it's not my fault. Must be you. Henry VIII, famous fat ass. And these guys are old school. I mean, this is the year 1400. This guy's still a fatty.
I think his problem is that he's, like that comedian that said, like, the different dick length or whatever it is. He probably was so fat and his dick couldn't reach the vagina doing doggy style. So he was only doing anal and he didn't know.
It could be. But also, let's not forget the whole
pregnant by putting it in their butt.
Let's not forget the whole French bulldog of it all, which is that if your entire family tree is a circle, it's going to be harder to have kids. It just doesn't work out that well.
Hills have eyes, you mean, right?
The hills have eyes.
The hills
and
always
Henry
have eyes.
VIII had very tiny eyes. We have Maria Theresa. Never heard of her. There we go. We get a woman on the list. Big fatty Austrian ruler.
Is she a milker too? What was her milk?
Well, I gotta imagine. They said
it's all about the milk, dude.
They put it right here. Think coffee, crepes, sausages, pastries, soups, and dumplings.
I want her milk. That sounds good.
I mean, basically every ruler should be fat as hell. It's only because of lack of food. And then we have an American on the list. The fattest.
Weird. I never thought that.
Oh, the fattest president on record. And again, this is in the 1800s, early 1900s, when he was president in the early 1900s, the fattest president. And I love this anecdotal story I have about him, which is the most famous story about him. Is basically all I know about him, besides fattest president, which is that he was getting ready for a speech. He took a bath because standing up is hard.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to if you're. Yep. And so he took a bath and he got stuck in the tub because he was so fat. So he's late for his speech and his White House aides had to come in and bring in butter and butter up his belly in the tub and pop the president of the United States out of the tub. And this is so accurate that it's a public knowledge historical event that he is not only the fattest president of all time, got stuck in the tub because he's fatty. Hell yeah.
Oh my God, that's fucking
and Donald
great,
Trump
dude.
was chasing him hard, but even Donald wasn't nearly as fat as this. This guy's the full-on fatty. I mean, I think when Chris Christie becomes our president in 2032, he might beat him, but I mean, this is as close as you'll get to the fattest world leader in American history, William Howard Taft, fattest president running.
I would love to see a picture of William Howard Taft's
in the tub
ass in the tub. I mean, I'm not down. I'd even fucking watch a sex tape. Honestly.
Are you kidding me?
I would, it was like, oh no, it's so, I'm like, no, I want to watch it. I'm down.
Oh man. I mean, this guy,
God, he
became the president imagine,
dude, you didn't get a mustache. You cannot be skinny and get a mustache like that. You have to be fucking fat. Yeah. You have to be fat.
But I mean, imagine at the time, the average weight of the American adult is not even close to this. Like right now, this is pretty close to the average weight of American. Imagine being not only the fattest president, but like one of the fattest people in the country. And you're like, I'm the president.
It's a status symbol.
It's a status symbol. So like a clawfoot bathtub that you get stuck in.
Man, his little tiny penis.
Look at his nickname. And also, he's the only president ever to have a cow that lived on the White House lawn because he wanted milk fresh every day.
It's about the milk, dude. We had a podcast about milk.
Did you
forget this? It's always,
I didn't forget it.
It's always about the milk.
Not since Taft have they had a cow on the White House lawn.
And how have things been doing since 1930, Joe?
Well, since 1930, shit got pretty rough for a while. But after that, it was pretty nice for a while.
It was nice for a while because maybe there were some things, but it's okay. Anytime you make a major change, it's all good. But since JFK died, the amount of work,
not that fast
for money, the amount of work for money, like you can put in more work and make more money. That hit a steep decline in like 1965. JFK died in 1963, and then inflation hit an all-time rise in the 70s. But
speaking of what happened,
because of milk, dude, it's because of the milk, man.
Oh, your hypothesis might run through this whole list because speaking of after 1930, world leaders, we have Winston Churchill, famous fatty, big fat guy. And he was even shorter than Taft. Look at this guy. I mean, they called him the British Bulldog for a reason.
Late 80s, 90s. It's probably because of the milk.
He made it for a while there. And that wasn't just the milk either. I mean, the milk, I think your hypothesis stands, but also cigars and brandy will get you a long time.
That will buy a man a couple of milks.
And I mean, I've seen pictures of him when he was in like military school. And even then, chubby cheeks. Winston Churchill, famous fat leader. Which brings us on to this guy. I never heard of before, but look at this motherfucker.
Fuck is that fat ass? He looks exactly, dude. Holy shit. He looks
Georgie,
exactly
another Georgie. Like,
whoa. Before you get into Georgie, he looks like one of the Wet Bandits.
Yeah. Not Joe Pesci, then the other one.
Joe Pesci, but he also has a little bit of John Candy in the back of the budget truck vibe.
But John Candy's not a Wet Bandit, is he?
No, I know, but he's in the same movie, and he looks like Joe Pesci mixed with John Candy.
He does look like a John Candy kind
John
of character.
Candy, but John Candy in the budget truck in the band movie.
Yeah, whatever the Russian word for candy is. He's Georgie Candy over there.
Georgie Candy over here, 1902 to 1988.
Yeah.
Famous following fucking clearly probably a Russian or USSR.
So, yeah, Russian. So actually, after World War
Whoa, his whole name is even funny. Can you please read his whole name down there?
I am going to. Right? So after World War II, the major three countries here all have big fatties. And this is Georgy Malenkov, but not to be following the death of Joseph Stalin, Georgy Maximilianovich Malenkov was the leader of the Soviet Union from 1953 to 1955. At age 16, he enlisted in the Red Army. So you get in early and often for revolutions. But they actually don't list his total weight gain, probably because
did they kill him?
They would kill him. But they say again, the Soviets love fried eggs with jam, chicken, and caviar. So that'll do it.
Before you move on with that,
look at this guy.
Knows, including the Russians and everyone else, is that you don't eat the same products from the same thing.
You don't
eat chicken. If you're going to have eggs, you don't have chicken. If you're going to have beef, you don't have milk. If you're going to have fucking bacon, you don't have pork. It's a rule. But especially on the poultry front, you do not do chicken and eggs and then drink fucking chicken milk. We all know this.
Yeah, we all know this because chickens don't produce milk because they're not mammals, but also, like you said. And then next we have Idi Amin. Africa makes a reference here, which is a famously very
not fat
low
country.
Body weight continent on the whole. I mean, they have the most countries of any continent, but in general, the BMI for Africa is pretty low. But don't worry about that. Becoming a military dictator has its perks in the 70s, and Idi Amin might have well been the fattest man in Africa at that time. And he ate very well, and he killed very many people.
Born in 1925 and died in 2003. He is an article that says how to get fat in Uganda in the 70s. And
how to get fat in Uganda.
He's how you do it. He knows.
You don't
deep fried grasshoppers and a bunch of other shit.
How you do it.
No, that's what he says. That's how he did it. That's how he did it.
No, that's not how he did it.
Sweet potatoes.
Think outside the box. Think outside the box a little bit. That's not how he did it. Sweet potatoes. Yeah. Peanuts. Yeah. There you go. That's more like it. That's more like
I don't know, deep fried grasshoppers. I have a feeling I don't know. He sounds like
he wasn't eating grasshoppers. He was eating slabs of beef. He was the dictator in Uganda. And also,
says
notice
how to get fat in Uganda. What are you talking about? It says how do you get fat in Uganda?
Dylan, look a little bit into articles when you read them on the internet, please. This is a fucking jump scare article.
The fact that your article doesn't have any sex ads is a red flag for me. Okay. Maybe that loading screen.
Notice, please, that he was president until 1979 and he died in 2003 in Saudi Arabia, which means that he escaped the country as a war criminal and
kept living. Drink milk.
And drank milk, camel milk, I imagine, until the day he died.
Just go drink milk in Saudi Arabia and died of kidney failure in 2003.
Doubt that, but who knows?
Wait, it says he did practice cannibalism?
Rumored to have, but who knows? He definitely had no...
I bet he did.
He did not like human life. Part of his policy was to kick everyone from India and the Middle East out of Uganda, which crippled their economy because half of the business owners in the country were exiled or killed. So that worked out really well. I don't know. Look it up. Is Uganda doing very well right now? Thanks to Idi Amin.
I know.
Then we have another guy who's basically Idi Amin Jr.,
yeah, little guy.
Congo,
DRC, another dude.
You get really powerful in Africa. Everyone else starving. You eat a lot of shit and eat a lot of milk. Spicy sauces, with fish.
I do like a good fishy special sauce.
He killed animals and smuggled ivory. There you go. We're getting there. We're getting there. And we have my favorite one on the list.
Holy
Abu Abdul Bari. Now here's a modern fatty.
Jesus.
This isn't just fat for like world leaders in history. This is
Kentucky fried Middle Eastern. Jesus.
This is like actual modern day fat where you need assistance to move. Like this guy can't walk.
Damn.
This is like my 600-pound life. I need my wife to feed me. I need a crane to bring me to the hospital because and you imagine how hard this guy's heart is working. This guy's heart is the hardest working member of ISIS. I'll tell you that right now.
My 600-pound Allahu Akbar.
My 600-pound jihad.
Shit, look at those pants, dude. Where do you? Well, slow down.
I mean, that's the hardest.
Let's talk about these pictures for a second.
Please.
This looks like a candid photo of a dude.
Let's get a little closer in
who skinned a teddy bear and wore the fucking bottom half of Winnie the Pooh, and then just based
look
off
at him
of
in the
like,
truck.
That's what I'm saying. Like
there's an LMG, and then he's the cargo.
Yeah,
exactly. Look at his fupa. His fupa is taking up like the size of a small child.
Fupa's insane, dude. This guy ain't jerking off. No way. He can't. Not happening. And then,
it's against God to jerk off, so he can't.
Unless they think he is just like in North Korea, he is the absolute specimen of reproduction. But dude, on the right, this looks exactly like the guy from the Night Before Christmas who's in the burlap. Yeah, dude, he
looks exactly like Oogie Boogie.
He's a Middle Eastern Oogie Boogie.
Maybe he's full of bugs like Oogie Boogie is.
That's what I'm thinking. So, because he ain't full of cum, I can tell you right now. He's full of fucking. He's
full of bad ideas. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, exactly. Is he a terrorist, dude? Like, what is this guy?
Yes, he is. He is the leader of ISIS for a time.
You're fucking shitting me. I was making a joke.
We have our first actual weight listed, which is 560 pounds. Also known as Shifa al-Nima or Jabba the Jihadi.
Jabba the Jihadi.
Very well done.
Holy shit. And they captured him.
Dude,
can you imagine SEAL Team 6 going there and then they realize he's that big and you go, how do we get this fucking guy out of here? Oh my God.
When they captured him, they couldn't put him in the cop car. They had to put him on the police
flatbed
car. A flatbed. So that's him being arrested there in that picture. That's hilarious.
Oh,
well, he's not going to go anywhere. You don't have to handcuff him or put ankle restraints on because he's not going anywhere.
Yeah. He's making a run for it. Trust me, he's really fast. I'm not sure about
cargo. He is
Holy
cargo.
Shit, dude. You gotta. Yeah.
Wow. Can you imagine your country is that? Oh my God. How funny.
Like if you shoot
and we
him,
have number one.
If you shoot him, like one sec. If you decide you're gonna shoot that guy, it just might hit all fat, almost like shooting into sand. And he goes,
Yeah, he's got a lot of room between his organs and the outside world, but I feel like if his heart even skips a beat, he's dead immediately. I mean, that thing's working
You
overtime.
move a lot of fluid around with that, with the same size heart that me and you both have.
Your heart doesn't grow when you get fatter; it just stays the same size.
It stays the same. How do you fucking shit?
I don't even know how you eat that much.
And sometimes I take a shit and I'm like, my heart can't do this anymore.
Yeah,
it's probably
this guy.
I'm 30 years old. It's probably gonna end today on this big shit because I drank too much. Like,
can you imagine the pulse in his ears just pulsating? Just the hard work. The blood pressure's got to be out of control.
Wow, that is just
Jabba the Jihadi. Give it up for them.
All right, give it up to Jabba the Jihadi.
And then they had number one on the list, not the fattest one, but my
favorite,
pick, Kim Jong-Un. The great successor. He's the fattest person in North Korea easily, because everyone is bone skinny, and he gets all the food.
Imagine kissing that guy.
What do we look at? We're thinking about 290 pounds at the time of this picture. He has hypertension and diabetes, and he's a heavy smoker, which helps you die faster.
Yeah.
Heavy smoker. So I have to imagine here, this is my pick for the world record. I think keep stealing food from your people. Just keep eating. And if you lean in and stop walking so much, you can perhaps be the fattest world leader in human history at the detriment to your country. But who are you here to impress? They already think you're God or else. So just lean into it. Become the fattest person to lead the country in the history of the planet.
It's definitely the easiest thing for him.
I think it's his best option. It's the easiest option. And he's already halfway there.
Yeah. No, that'd be good. I think you should do that too. I just can't believe how fucking fat he is. I mean, that's really crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Soft-handed fat fuck.
Never worked a day in his life or else.
Yeah. Wow. That's really something. I hope that he's just so fucking fat and he's been so lonely. And there's 1,000 wives or whatever it is, but I hope that he's one of those people who ends up in the ER because they put chopsticks up their dick hole. Because they put their whole resources of a country into keeping him alive. Because now that's all.
Like when Donald Trump got COVID and it was solved in 1 week.
I know, but that's now all it takes for him to fucking ejaculate is to do crazy shit like put a lampshade up his asshole.
Oh
and
yeah,
then put
it can't be
chopstick in his dick and then jerk off at the same time.
I mean, he'll be lucky if he. I'm sorry, our viewers, but he'll be lucky if he can even get hard at this point. I mean, come on. And
dude.
I don't think Jabba the Al-Badi. I think he's definitely one of those guys who buys the 3-foot long dildos and just shoves them in chicks just to be like, hey, I'm doing something here because I'm not getting anything out of me. So I get some kind of pleasure in my mind to try to do weird, like people who get older, they start doing all kinds of crazy toys and stuff. Like, I can't do it myself, so I'm gonna start doing all kinds of weird.
Yeah, there's like I just like to be here,
I just like to be around it, So I imagine that Kim Jong-Un isn't getting a lot of that done for himself. So at this point, he's kind of just getting creative, and he has all the resources of a major nation.
He's like 38, 37 years old, and he has to
he's relatively young man.
He's a relatively young man, dude.
I think he's in his mid-30s. Yeah, so
born 1984. He's 38 years old, if that's what the case is.
There you go.
And that's not that old to be able to have fucking erectile dysfunction problems, dude. They make Blue Chew, they make Cialis.
They must make their own version of it, like their own version of Linux, their own version of Blue Chew.
Yeah, exactly. And he should. I hope he should have that.
I bet he does.
Whatever they have. Also, if anyone needs any advice if you're listening to this, great way to kill him too is to be the first to fucking put your mouth on that fucking dick and suck that thing off to get him hard, and then kill him immediately.
Real Red Sparrow kind of scenario.
Yeah, you get him vulnerable, and that's where that is where he's right about to fucking go, and you just fucking stab him right.
You know what? That's better than he deserves.
Adam's apple. I know, but Adam's apple, fucking butter knife.
He's got an Adam's pumpkin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it'll be really good. And it'll take a couple minutes for him to die from that. So it's enough to suffer.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, what a crazy time, man. That fat fuck. So Joe's final
world
solution,
record that they should focus on.
World record is fattest fucking dictator of all time. Even beating that ISIS guy.
Even better than Jabba the Jihadi, as they call him.
Jabba the Jihadi. Just beating him.
He can beat him. He's got to put his head down, and just really bear down and just never stop eating and stop taking tours of stuff. Just live in your palace and never leave.
Yep. Oh, we're getting close. I mean, if he's 38, he's got diabetes, he's overweight, all those other things. It's not.
Yeah, the Jabba the Jihadi said it was 56. So, like, you got another 20 or odd years. You can get there.
Yeah, exactly. And his kids
more,
are millennials or exennials or
like
Generation Z or whatever it is. And regardless of anything, like, there's just no way anyone's going to hold up this fucking bullshit regime.
I mean, no one's ever going to elect a leader that's 560 pounds, even if he's great, because they can't be trusted. Because of decision making. So if you're a dictator, it's really your best chance to get huge because you don't have to be reelected. You can just ride it out. And you can take all the food from your country away from your people, and then you can eat it. So there you go. You're already in. In for a penny, in for 1,000 pounds. Thank you very much. That's my best thing of the night. And I'm done. Do you want to do final thoughts, or do you have some more to say about the fatty?
That's all I got. Final thoughts.
I cannot believe that I actually have a Chechen standing here telling me when he's going to take a delivery. Hello?
Final thoughts. I'll give it a start. You want to make sure that Stephen Hawking knows its final thoughts, Joe, while we're here?
Sure thing.
It's definitely important that he make sure that we introduce final thoughts.
DJ BP, can I get a little bit of final thoughts over here, please?
Final thought, boom, shock, lock.
Thanks, DJ BP, man. You're awesome.
Thank you.
There's so much energy spent on the bullshit. Kim Jong-Un could be spending all this energy and money on doing sick shit, whether it be being the fattest dude ever, who's a leader, or making an F1 team, digging the deepest hole, finding solutions to nuclear waste, as well as a universal solution to world hunger.
Yep.
We have so many ideas that would put you on a map and go, you know what, dude, you went out, you came in with a shit fuck, and you left with
fuck shit.
Yeah, you're still fucked, but inherited trauma. You inherit trauma from your parents. I get it. It's fucked up, but you did the best you could with what you given, and you did better than anyone else in the regime since the Korean War. So,
worst leader, best world record guy.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Instead of world's fucking 45th best fucking ICBM, you get world's best hole.
That's something to look forward to and to look down
Sure is. Yep. On to you, Joe.
I agree with you, as I often do. I think that as Uncle Ben said to Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. And the responsibility of running a nation as the unequivocal cult leader, where what you say goes. You don't even have the Reichsmacht to look at you and ask you for decisions, or the world looking at you. You're your own nation. All you have to be beholden to is don't upset China and do whatever. Starve your citizens, put all your money towards a nuclear program. You have all this power and no one to say no. With all that power comes a lot of responsibility, and you are squandering it, Kim Jong-un. You're squandering it, and it's a fucking sad affair. Not only is it sad to the people who are living in your nation, but more importantly, it's sad to us to see what you're wasting all this opportunity with. If we even had half of the power and responsibility that you had, we'd be launching cars in outer space. We'd be digging deep holes. We'd be organizing the biggest game of human dominoes of all time, and we'd be winning F1 championships at the very least. So I think it's not too much to ask that you take all this and parlay it into something memorable, because you are in danger of being the last shittiest dictator of one of the worst countries on the planet, which is a pretty bad spot in history. I mean, look at the company you keep. We're looking at Idi Amin. We're looking at Jabba the Jihadi. I mean, they're not famous for anything good. They're famous for really shitty stuff, and really they suck really hard. But you could be something more than that. Turn this thing around. Focus on something more specific, whether you have to, put all your money in to build the biggest concrete yo-yo of all time, or I don't know, anything but what you're doing. It's the same thesis we've had the whole time. Don't be the 45th best at something everyone else has already done before you and try to copy them. Find your own lane, become the best at something you're good at, whether that's being fat or whether it's inventing a new slingshot that shoots pies across the Pacific Ocean. I don't know what it is. It's not my job to come up with
Punkin' chunkin', dude. He could do the best punkin' chunkin'.
Yeah. We're only doing a podcast. We come up with 100 ideas today. You can do better than that. All your subordinates that their job is to suck you off can do better than that. So basically, figure something out here. And all we're asking is that you take your great power and you use your great responsibility and make hay while the sun's shining. Is that too much to ask? Selfish prick.
Yeah, I don't think so. And final thoughts on that is that it's going to take a little bit of massaging in the way of when it comes to China.
I'm sure there's a lot of massaging
going to have to find the line by asking for forgiveness, not for permission.
Right.
Because they're not going to come there. What do you think they're going to do? Fucking attack you? I think China's going to all of a sudden start attacking fucking North Korea. They're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Because you give a resource.
South Korea is America,
you go, hey, we fucking did it. So, we did the biggest punkin' chunkin' and we used your money to do it. So, fucking shoot us. And they go, okay, well, we're not going to do that because no one wants to start wars. Right. So you have to do these things and ask for forgiveness, not permission. If you ask for permission from China, they're not going to give it to you. But if you ask for forgiveness, they go, oh, well, we won't let this happen again. And you do it again, and you do it again. It's just how it goes.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Just like Russia. You don't ask for permission to invade Ukraine. Just invade Ukraine. And people get pissed off. And what are they going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
Just chuck that pumpkin to Hawaii from North Korea. And then ask for forgiveness later.
That's how you're gonna have to do it, Kim Jong-Un, dude. We know we're like the same age as you, bro. It's gonna be all right. Yep. So, on the note, that's final thoughts from the Dylan Joe.
One of our most sporadic episodes, but so weird and fun and cool.
So weird, fun, and more are just in the fucking pipeline, like you wouldn't believe. We gave a hint earlier today. But
we're sorry we took such a long break off, but we're going to try to tighten it up a little bit. But
yeah, we both are people. Yeah. Things happen. And it's coming right from the basement.
Coming from the basement. It's a mentality.
The basement.
It's a state of mind.
It is. We'll see you guys next week from the basement.
Fuck you, Kim Jong-Un. I hope you die. You're a piece of shit.
Yeah, if I do think sometimes if I could actually kill somebody and someone like I was right there and like just pull
your whole family of fucking cult leaders
pull the trigger, I would be like,
I hope you die.
This is one where it's like it's hard to kill someone, but I'd be like, based off of what I know, bang, just
done. Free those people.
Turns into a bunch of watermelon. I know what that looks like. So
oh my god, fuck you.
Yeah, be cool. Fuck you, dude.
Twice.
Yep.
See you next week, folks.
Next week, guys.
DJ BP. Hit the Basement Podcast.
This is a Basement Podcast.
And I don't know what else to say about that situation, whatever. But anyway, so Kim Jong-Un is doing the same damn thing as Britney Spears, and we're the first podcast to say it right now. I fucking know that.
Guinness and Michelin are major companies we've heard of, but clearly that can't be the same thing as these books, right? Because one of them is a tire company and the other one is a beer company. That's where you're wrong. They are those ones you're thinking of.
No
Michelin
way.
star restaurants are rated.
What do they call those people? Not regulars, but like
I'd say he's a regular. Yeah.
No, he's a regular, but there's another name for someone who's like officially on payroll.
Yeah, he's a paid regular. Breaking news: North Korea actually pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. Now, absinthe is not to be messed around with. I did throw up violently for like an entire night on Monday, and because I had 3 Manhattans.
That he is not only the fattest president of all time, he got stuck in the tub. He's fatty. Hell yeah.
My list.
Classic not knowing what you're recommending until you're looking it up right now.
No, because it just showed up on my fucking ads. That's why I'm saying it. Because I was looking up the Hindenburg, and all of a sudden it's like, Hindenburg, Titanic of the Sky. It's like, a little different, because one was covered in swastikas, so it's not the same at all, actually. Like it's a little different. Okay.
But just as far as alcohol consumption goes, your boy Dylan's a fucking tank. You fucking pussies can't handle that. Don't act like he's Manhattan. No. If it was most of you folks, you would be on the fucking floor an hour earlier. So don't act like you can't.
I am honored. It also says during his first game ever of Horse, he dunked a basketball so hard it scared the AIDS out of Magic Johnson.